Hey, shorties, what's up? I even remembered to do my earbuds right then. So excited, so proud of myself, and I did it in like 14 seconds. Woo, bless. Hey, happy Friday night, y'all. Who's here? Moon Bunny, Taryn Dusty Girl, Sharon Trifford, Turd, ma'am, sir. Buster's here. Hey, Busty. You guys. Ernie Birdie, my friend. Adam drives Helen, my lover. Long distance, y'all. Prince Lover's in the house. Yo, Miss Jess. Did I say hi, Miss Jess? Bug spray ready for Camp Shorty. I love it. On brand. On brand. We've been at summer camp for the last 2 weeks. Oh, Margaret's in the house. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, Prince Lover, thanks. Stephanie Bloody Blah. Tommy 2274. Watching from Connecticut. Howdy. No, that's not really a Connecticut thing, is it? Darlene's in the house. Oh, Cat Randall, man cat. Oh, man cat. You're too kind. It's all smoke and mirrors and makeup, lip gloss, lip liner. This is fucking half an hour of pretty. Lol, pretty. Sweetie's in the house. Hey. Good stuff. Okay, so what's on for tonight? Let me just sort my shit out. Lol. Car Randall. I like man cat better than car Randall, but um, two things. Oh no, some things. Of course, obviously, intro song, Chode Ferguson, amazing, Malicious Asylum, lyrics and music. Video, Adam Drives Helen. Thank you. You all need to go and subscribe to both of them. They're both amazing. And I'm not just saying that. Like, obviously, look at that. Listen to that song. Look at that video. Wow. Like, wow. Next up on the Camp Shorty, like, before we go hiking checklist. Oh, Poppy says hi. See pants like all the time. I love that for us. I don't really love it. It's like too much panting, not enough just being calm. She's like, I don't do calm up. I just do smiling all the time, cute. And Buster's always calm. Chompers. Okay, second thing on the agenda, on the pre-camp, pre-hike checklist. Tomorrow night, my best ever sidekick, Adam, has helped me. We worked out how we shorties, Camp Shorties, can watch the 2020, no, Dateline, Karen Reed thing tomorrow night. It's on tonight. Stay. If you don't stay, come back and watch Replay Crew. Replay Crew is Bay, but tomorrow night we're gonna, me and Paul O'Keefe's crotch is back. Very fitting pants. We're going to do he will have watched it, I'd say, tonight. I won't have watched it, so we're going to have a watch party. So if you see it in the intro, come back and watch it with us tomorrow, 7 Eastern, whatever time that is. Aussies, that's not 10 a.m. Sunday. Oh, time zones. And then tonight, Deborah's in the house. What are we talking about? Jill Daniels. She had a hearing today on her assault on Turtle Boy. Haven't seen the outcome yet. We will keep our ears to the ground. Yes, I have heard this. Melanie Little plays a Turd song before her lives too. Turd Ferguson, girl, you're going places. Taryn Dusty, fuck, you're a loyal shorty. I love this shit. You're all loyal. I love you all. I love your faces. Where are we watching it tomorrow? Here, tomorrow. My channel, 7 Eastern. It's already scheduled. After this, oh, Poppy, your breath is so hot. Panting. Mary Flynn's in the house. Yo. Tomorrow is the last day of work before winter layoff. Oh, are you a teacher, Steph? Wait, what? Cool. Love this time, you cowgirl. Yes. Poppy, do you want to go out? It's not great timing. I don't love this time. I do. Thanks, Smarter Harry. Cool. Poppy, I love you. Just don't lick me. Yes, she is being a baby puppy, except she's not the baby. She's 2. She's 2. She's a big 2-year-old. And she licks me a lot. This is all the time. Oh, yo, Miss Adventurous Bookhouse is Book Mouse and Bookhouse is in the house. Yay. Okay, what are we doing today? Well, last night, we we spent a lot of time with the grub, the murdering, or the assists, the he who assists murderers, murderer Jason. I mean, allegedly, Chris Albert. he got real itchy, right? He got really itchy. And in my comments section from last night's live, which is now a video, Poppy, please. I'm trying to be a serious YouTuber girl. You're making a mockery out of my efforts. I can do that on my own. Ah, I love you. Back off now, Tiger. Give me a couple of hours. She says, I'll give you nothing. Terrible twos. She's going to be like this till she dies. You know how I know that, Darlene? Because I am a little bit like Poppy. I really shouldn't be so quick to judge her behavior because she's me in a dog. Right. Okay. Oh, AJ's in the house. Ready for some bukkake. AJ, girl. This is the secret to my youthful face. I'm almost 70. No, I'm almost 50. I like to think that bukkake is what keeps me fresh looking. Oh, it's been a while, so I might need an update. Oh, God. We're all friends, right? Adam, can you assist? LOL! Yikes! But hey, let's watch this first. Let's watch this. So we got a taste test for tomorrow night. And honestly, I swear to God, I'll know who you are if you leave me right now after I show this. So you're all sworn in. You're sworn in. You cannot leave. You can leave. Go on, do whatever you like. This isn't a cult. It is a little bit of a cult.
When I woke up after 4, I knew something was wrong. Nobody's heard from him, and it's bad weather. I started feeling like he had to have gotten hit by a car or by a snowplow. We turn a corner, and I see him immediately.
This is tomorrow night. This is not tonight.
The guy unresponsive in the snow.
Could I have done something that knocked him out and in drunkenness and in the cold didn't come to again?
I couldn't even think that this could potentially be happening.
There was a good 8 to 10 cops banging on the doors, and then they all just flooded my house.
Someone was going to pay a cost for John losing his life.
The narrative was that I just became enraged and decided to nail him in the snow.
I was thinking that she's probably going to need some help.
Yes,
Is it a romance that went wrong? Is it a night of partying that went wrong? Or did something else happen?
The evidence shows that this was a huge cover-up.
Oh, AJ.
Feels we're the only ones fighting for the truth of what happened to John O'Keefe.
I've never heard of a criminal case where the victim's family is harassed both online but on their way to court.
John O'Keefe had done nothing wrong.
It's going to be
and
infuriating.
wound up dead. And on a regular basis, he was just left out of this conversation.
We did not think that there was any way that this jury was going to acquit her.
She's completely innocent.
The days start to tick by. 1, 2, 3, 4. They can't come to a conclusion.
No matter what we have to deal with, justice for Johnny.
Justice for Johnny. Justice for JJ. All right, stop sharing. Cool. No, we're watching it tomorrow night, Grumpy Granny. Aye. Jeez Louise. You guys can't hear that, but I had shit in my ears. Yes, a show has just started being shown in the US. Adam and I tried to problem solve with, I got a VPN. Adam signed up for some ludicrously expensive YouTube TV bullshit. But we decided, the royal we, Adam and I are we are we, that it would be better to let everybody do their watch it live with whoever, whatever, however, what if any, tonight if they want. And then tomorrow night, with some 24 hours, everyone can come and watch it again with me and with Paul O'Keefe's crotchy. That it's not actually Paul O'Keefe's crotch, but right, you can't make this shit up. Correct. So today we're going to review Julie Daniels' gum chewing, donut delivering, lying bitch face. Credible testimony. I heard Jill Leatherface Daniels is going to dress up for Halloween as Leatherface herself. Tommy, chat, I'm 5 years older than Jill Daniels. Just saying. Hi, Steph. Who else? Dateline has just begun. Recycled BS, we already know. Propaganda. Thank you. So we can do this, which is much more useful, I think, reviewing these testimonies. I'm loving it. And then tomorrow at 7 Eastern on my channel, we can watch the propaganda and we can be like a propaganda support chat, right? Same as when we watched Plevin's closing arguments. We can be supportive together. I'm here for it, right? Yes. AJ is ignoring me. AJ, can you please talk to your sister? Don't ignore her. Are you going to send us over to you and Adam? Adam's going live tonight at 10 Pacific. I honestly, Adam, feel like you could probably bring that back an hour if you're ready. So then I can portal people. But yeah, Adam drives Helen. Subscribe. BS, yes. Different context. Adam's not BS. It's not exactly. But we'll watch it together because that's what we do. We watch everything together many times, right? Okay. I think you're welcome, Annie. Anything for you, darling. And AJ's still ignoring you, so that's cute. She's clearly thinking about those facials and not getting them. I mean, would you throw a Bukkake Jill Daniels way? Maybe to shut her up. Ooh, damn. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, finally, the siblings have found each other. Good. I'm glad you guys are talking now. God damn it, what am I? So, trigger warning, Lally. Trigger warning, hemorrhoid Bev. Let's do it. Let's fucking go, right? Also, disclaimer, I may get sidetracked. Sidetrack the ever-loving shit out of me, chat, and we will always get back on track. Technically. Oh, Bev's doing a swing. Is it a wig? Is it a clip-on fringe? Will we ever know? Not sure. But we're here to try and decipher all these things and more. All rise for the jury. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Oh, wait. Fuck. I didn't do anything. So this is directly after Chris Albert's testimony. Yep. And then Bev. Maybe I did do something. Maybe that was a little bit of me. Would have been. Day eight, chat. Day 8.
All right, Mr. Lally, your next witness, please.
May we approach before the next
Glory
witness is called,
holes. I like
Okay.
what you did there. Oh, okay. Sidebar. Fantastic. I love that for us. Beverly, Bent Bev. I prefer hemorrhoid Bev, but Bent Bev works also. Margaret? Yes. Oh, whoops. Right. It's amazing, reality check. And then in my comments, like you, reality check. I'm noticing even more things. Like it's knowing what we know now. Yeah. What do we see now? It's really cool. Begging for Bukkake or
All right, so
I don't
Mr.
think you
Lally,
have to
who's your
beg.
next witness?
Call with the call, Miss Julie Albert to the stand.
Right.
Okay.
I think we're on. Let me check what speed we're on because Lord knows Lally at normal speed is like death by 1,000 Lallies. 1.25, chat. We might speed it up. Julie, did you have the PJ fan? I mean, yeah, Julie. Jill Daniels, Julie Albert. I don't think you can, AJ. It's torture, right?
Right, whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Hi, John Devlin. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the jury?
Julie Albert, Albert.
And where do you live, ma'am?
I live at 22 Maple Street in Canton.
And how long have you lived in Canton?
A little over 2 years.
And how long in total have you lived in Canton?
My whole life. 48 years.
And where did you live just prior to living
Possibly.
on Maple?
I lived at 7 Meadows Avenue
Hopefully.
in Canton.
Hi,
And
Wendy.
how long a period of time did you live at 7 Meadows Avenue?
20.
Yes.
15 plus 20 years, about 20 years.
And do you have kids?
Yes, I have 3 boys.
And,
That's good
and
for tonight, outside.
Yes,
Good
I am.
work.
What's your husband's name?
Christopher Albert.
Christopher Grubb,
And your 3
murderer,
boys, how old?
helper.
My oldest, Christopher, is 25. My second son, Colin, is 20. And my youngest son, Dylan, is
16.
And they're all dickheads, allegedly.
And do each of them, where do they live? Do they live with you?
They all live with me. Yes.
And your husband, does he work?
Yes.
What does he do?
He owns a restaurant in Canton.
What's the name of the restaurant?
D&E Pizza.
And where is that located?
618 Washington Street.
Now, when you lived on Meadows Avenue, can you describe to
Okay, before we roast Julie hard, because I feel it in my waters, can I just give her an appreciation post? Not a post, I'm just going to do it live. Her hair, so good. Those blonde foils, whatever. Oh, highlights. Love. Beautiful hair. Very jealous. Very jealous.
the jury sort of,
But that's all I'm envious of. Like, the end.
if you know, about how many houses are on Meadows?
I would say maybe 8 on each side.
Thanks.
And Meadows comes out.
I'm a
to the main
fucking
road,
delight.
correct?
Yes, Pleasant Street.
And while you were living on Meadows Avenue, did you have occasion to come to know someone by the name of John O'Keefe?
Yes, I did.
And where did John live in relation to you?
John's house was at the top of the street, and there was 2 houses between John's house and my house.
And if you recall, about how long have you known John O'Keefe, or when did he move into Meadows?
I think he moved in 2017-ish, maybe. And
I'd
probably
love
known him
to.
since
Reality
maybe
check.
2019.
And how would you describe sort of your relationship with John O'Keefe?
We were friendly.
I don't know, Adam. Let's just talk a little bit about the hair. I think it looks blonde hair is hard to look. I actually think it looks silky. Blonde hair is hard to get to a sheen on it because obviously you know this, Adam. There's no pigment in blonde hair; it's been removed, so it's just really the hair follicle and a bit of toner or whatever. I think it looks like thick, lush hair. I don't have thick, lush hair. I make do with what I've got and manage to make it look all right. My hair's naturally about her natural color. That's my natural color under the dirty blonde. Yep.
We were neighbors.
Enough hair talk. Let's get on to lies and fucking impeachable bullshit about a family murder.
Neighbors. You know, I'd see him all the time coming in and out of the street, and because he's at the top of the street when I pulled out of the street, and we were friendly.
And in addition to you knowing Mr. O'Keefe, were there other sort of people that knew you that also knew him?
Yes.
Who were some of those people?
Well, I knew John through Jennifer McCabe.
Okay.
And
So
who is Jennifer McCabe?
the audacity and also yuck. To chew gum. I mean, there's no class here. There's not even classy with a K here, right? She's chewing gum. And she's on the stand for, this isn't going to be a hugely long one, although I'm sure I can derail it to be longer. An hour? She's on the stand. She didn't come back the next day. We might slot in another testimony. We'll do a vote. What other testimony? Maybe a short one we can watch after this. But gum and yuck. Gum goes gross after like 4 minutes, and she's there chewing it the whole time. Ugh. Grub like her husband.
She's one of my closest friends.
Now, you knew that John had 2 children that he was guardian for?
Yes.
Nicotine gum, Wendy, right?
Yes.
Now, at some point through Mr. O'Keefe, did you come to know somebody by the name of Karen?
Yes.
When about was it that you met Mr.
O'Keefe?
This, exactly. Show some fucking respect to the court.
Maybe in like 2021, like, you know, pulling in and out of the street if they were outside, if, you know, a couple times out socially, probably in 2021, I would say.
And if you could just so
is that Christina Rex?
Yes.
Same.
Between her lawyers right over there.
That's a record of like identification.
Okay. Thank you, darling.
Now,
mwah, mwah, mwah.
On some
I love
social
you.
occasions that you were talking about, when you would see them out, would you have occasion to socially interact with Mr. O'Keefe?
Actually, you know what?
Yes.
Is that something that like you and your husband did together, or was it more of a group setting type?
No,
Going back
a
to
group
normal
setting.
speed.
And with reference to, did you
He
have
talks quite
occasions
fast.
where you would socially hang out or interact with Mr. O'Keefe in which Miss Reed wasn't there?
I can only honestly remember one time, and that was, I don't even know if they were together at the time.
And had you ever socially
love you.
interacted or spent time with Miss Reed separate and apart from Mr. O'Keefe?
No.
Now, if I could turn your attention to January 28th, 2022. Do you recall that day?
Yes.
Do you recall what day of the week it was?
Friday.
And what, if anything, did you have plans for that particular
What if
evening?
anything?
The next day was my nephew's birthday. So we
Baby.
were all, a bunch of us were going to go out that night, the night before to
Oh,
a
wait,
bar in
what am I
Canton.
doing with my life?
By the night before, you mean the night
Questions.
before his birthday?
Yes.
And that nephew, what was that nephew's name?
Brian Jr.
And
Baby
if you know
Brian.
about how old was he turning, or how?
23,
how
Lally.
old
God
is he
damn
now?
it. We know this.
He's 24.
3 now.
So
He was
just
turning
turned
23.
24 a few months ago.
January. Yep.
God damn
And
it.
so he
Get your
would have been
facts straight,
turning,
Lally, you
what,
idiots.
22 at that point.
Yes.
And when you say we had plans to sort of go out, who was the we?
Myself, his mother, Nicole, my niece, Caitlin.
Okay. Excuse me. Vaping. Gah. Well, we'll never give up. If I ever have to, I will cry and die. So I can't remember, but I guess that there aren't many objections from the defense team during Lally's direct exam. I wonder how many objections there'll be during the cross and how many Bev will allow it.
And a couple of Brian's friends.
Now, and you mean Brian Jr.'s friend?
Yes.
And so Brian
No.
Albert Jr. has a mother named Nicole
He's in,
Albert, is that correct?
Yes.
And
I don't
how
think
is
he's quite cut out for
she
military,
sort of-
Margaret.
How is she related to you?
She's my sister-in-law.
The
Our
other
husbands are
son is.
brothers.
So your husband Christopher has a brother,
Brian.
Brian. Okay. And that would be sort of
Brian Sr.
for lack
Yep.
of a better term.
Yep.
Your husband Christopher.
I'm a fucking
how many
delight, sweetie.
siblings does he have?
6.
And Brian is the oldest? Is
The
that
oldest, yes.
And so there were plans to go out that evening, the day before Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday, correct?
Yes.
And what were the plans? What did they sort of consist of?
We were just going to go to Waterfall.
And his waterfalls, where
It's-
is it?
John, we were speculating last night in the Chris Albert testimony stream when he mentioned about Karen wanting to go to D&E after the waterfall rather than go to 34 Fairview. And it was the general consensus, I think, that probably Karen wanted to do anything other than go back to that residence for that whatever was to come, God forbid, and God didn't forbid. That probably she wanted to stay in a more public setting, not a private residence. I think it was Jess who said never go to a second location. Perhaps it was Cherd. Some wise woman. It was the general consensus that she did say that, because she did also, it was reminded to me by Taryn, I think, that she stated it in the 2020 special, one of them, both of them probably, same footage, nothing new to see here. So I think that probably she was trying to avert whatever she could innately like feel in her bones of something that was brewing, because anyway, probably not for the pizza though. Ew.
It's a bar in Canton on Washington Street.
And from your husband's pizza shop at D&E to the waterfall, about how far away are the two from each other?
Very close. I mean, 200 steps maybe. You can.
Thanks, I think so.
Very, very close.
Same side of the street or
No, opposite sides.
Now,
Oh my God. God damn it.
when it came to that day,
We talk sense here
where
sometimes,
did you go?
John.
Did you go to
Sometimes.
the waterfall first or somewhere else, or if you know?
I went to my sister-in-law Nicole's house to pick her up.
And you know the address where your sister-in-law and your brother-in-law lived?
34 Fairview, where they lived, 34 Fairview Road.
And that was somewhere that you had been numerous occasions before?
Yes.
And when you arrived at 34 Fairview Road, you went inside the house?
I think I went inside for a moment, yeah, just to wait.
And do you know who, if anyone, did you see in there that you knew or recognized or didn't?
I know my niece Caitlin was in there, my nephew Brian. I don't recall.
Was Colin in the house, Julie?
I don't
Was
recall
your
who else
son
was
there?
in there.
Colin was in the
Nicole, was
house,
she there?
right?
Yeah, she was ready to leave. Yep.
Colin was there.
And when you left, I'm using sort of you in the plural. So you drove, is that correct?
I drove. Yep.
And who, if anyone,
Nicole, my sister-in-law, and Caitlin, my niece. And Brian did not end up coming with us.
More hair talk, Adam. I have so many flyaways and short bits. My blow dry. Sorry, chat. Just having a private hair conversation with my man. My hair, my blow drying. My arms are too short. I can't reach that shit. Yeah, and I'm always under a time crunch, getting ready for. I was blowing my hair dry at 20 past fucking what's the time? 8 your time. Eastern. So don't be hating on her hair, man. Hate on her fucking character.
And so,
And the gum.
nephew Brian, for whom you had initially made the plans to go out
Yep.
and celebrate, didn't end up coming.
Correct.
And why was that?
I don't think he was feeling up to it.
And if you know about what time was it that you picked your sister-in-law and your niece up and then went to work?
You'd better.
I don't remember exactly, but I would probably say between maybe 7:30 and 8, 7:30, like around 7:30 maybe.
And you arrive at the waterfall, you go in. If you could just,
Who, if anyone, maybe Bev needs a donut cushion for her hemorrhoids. I've decided, and it's now a royal we, that Bev has hemorrhoids. That's why she shifts around so much in a chair. And and all of these McAlbert characters could use some fucking anusol for their under eye bags. Puffy or what? Bev could share some of hers from her hemorrhoids. That's why she's so quick to get out of there. It's not to go to the Cape and have claws. It's to soothe her piles on her butt.
explain to the jury sort of when you walk
Oh, the
into
disrespect.
door of the waterfall, where was it that the three of you went?
When you walk into the door, there's a couple high top tables, long high top tables in front of you. And we just sat down at a high top table right when you walk through the door.
Now,
Annoying
your
and
experience either that evening
improper.
or prior evenings on certain nights, does the waterfall have any kind of sort of entertainment?
Annoying, Darlene, and also highly improper in the court. This shit doesn't normally fly. Gum chewing is not something that's allowed in a. That's not how we do it in Massachusetts, Mr. Jackson. Well, that is how we do it in Massachusetts, Mr. Jackson. I guarantee you, Julie Albert has friends in high places. The gum chewing flies for Julie Albert. Wild. Wild.
Yeah, they always have, every week's different. They have bands.
And from your recollection, was there a band there that night?
Yes, there was.
And do you recall where you were seated in relation to the band?
Could be.
I was sitting at the end of the high top table closest to the door that you walk in. And the band was to the right of me against a wall and kind of like an alcove, like a little against the wall.
And when you went there, was the band already sort of set up and playing, or did that happen later?
I think they set up while we were there. I think.
And so initially when you go there, do you?
Everybody, we could totally peer pressure reality check if she's still here. She knows the name of the band. I think it was general consensus that we would like to refer to the band at the waterfall that night as the Grab Assing, the Ass Grabbers, something like that. Damn. Reality checks knows the real name of the band. So I'm not saying to peer pressure her to tell us, but you know, we're a kind, supportive, inclusive community. Tell us.
Do you go there and just have drinks, or did you eat something, or what?
We ate, and yeah.
And while you were there, as far as
Gum would give me more cottonmouth, Ernie.
during sort of the meal portion of it, was there anyone else that joined you?
I know my niece's boyfriend, Tristan Morris.
Yes.
Came. I don't remember exactly when it was during that, but I know he was there.
Hi,
and
Frank.
then during
Francis,
the meal part,
look,
I don't
love you.
I don't
Yikes.
think during the meal part.
Yikes, RH.
I don't think.
So you recall, as far as the meal part was concerned, it's you, your sister-in-law Nicole, your niece Caitlin, and her boyfriend Tristan Morris.
Correct.
And Mr. Morris, did he stay for any extended period of time, or when was it that he left?
I know he stayed for a little bit, but I honestly can't remember what time exactly he left.
Now, your husband, was he working on that day?
Yes, he was.
And had you been in communication with him as to where you were going to be?
Yes.
And so the plan was basically for him to meet you at the waterfall when he was done with work?
Correct, yes.
She's very quick to answer, right? She's very jumpy. Are we paying attention? in contrast to her husband last night, but the first witness of this day, day 8, who was chin up, defiant, eyebrows up, what the fuck? How very Robert Tellis of you, Chris Albert, just but with your clown makeup half wiped off. Julie is maybe the gum's making her think faster.
And
Or she knows her answers and she knows what he's going to ask and she is ready to go.
if you know about what time was it that your husband, Christopher, came over to the waterfall?
Maybe not 9:30, 10. Maybe. I don't
And
remember
want you to
exactly.
guess, just
Yeah.
you know approximate time.
Yeah.
So at some time around 9:30 or so, your husband Christopher comes over to the waterfall?
Yes.
Taryn, the first time I saw the photos of more than just the fence one, which is not even classy with a K again, it was after, and then seeing her now, my first response was, man, she is holding some toxic shit secret in her head. I think stress, guilt, and guilt. Yes, a lot of weight. She's like a Skeletor now. She had a healthy looking full face, age appropriate. She had boobs, like she had curves. Not a super curvy woman, but not this thing. This like Skeletor thing that we see in front of us. Guilt and secrets will do that to you, yeah.
Yes.
And what, if anything, did he do when he died?
Came in. Yeah.
He came in. Did he get anything to eat, anything to drink?
Yeah. Probably ordered a drink and just stood by the table, I would think.
And you and the people in your group, were you drinking that night?
Yes.
What is it? Do you recall specifically what you had to drink?
I think I had just a couple glasses of wine.
And your husband, do you recall specifically what he had that night?
What he would drink is Miller Lite.
And that's sort of typically what he would drink
Yes.
when he was out?
Yes.
And your sister-in-law, Nicole, do you recall what she was drinking?
I would assume White Claw, a White Claw.
And same question with regard to your niece, Kate.
Yes, probably White Claw as well.
Now, while you were there, who, if any, so after your husband came in, who, if anyone else, sort of came in and joined the group that you were with?
My brother-in-law, Brian Albert, and his friend, Brian Higgins.
Brian Albert and Brian Higgins, aka the murderers, and your son, the murderer.
And
Is that yes?
you know,
Cute.
Yes.
thank you. You just had.
Chat. One's in the chat if you think that Colin Albert is. One's in the chat if you think Colin is actually Brian Albert's son. Wait. Yes, that's the question. One's in the chat. Is Colin Albert actually Brian Albert's son? Allegedly.
Just have to answer obviously. So, did you know Mr. Higgins as well?
Yes.
And how did you know Mr. Higgins?
I just know him from being friends with my brother-in-law.
So you knew him just sort of through your brother-in-law, Brian, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And do you know when they arrived in relation to when your husband, Christopher, arrived?
I don't recall.
But some point after, correct?
Yes.
Then after they
All
arrived,
the ones.
who, if anyone else, do you recall sort of arriving and joining in your group?
Jennifer McCabe and Matt McCabe. And there was a couple, I don't even know their name, Colakitis.
Hi, Catherine.
They arrived. I don't know their first names. And John and Karen arrived shortly after that.
And just so we can clear up people, as far as Jennifer McCabe, you've already mentioned her, and Matthew, was that her husband?
Yes.
And the other couple that you were talking about, or sort of guessing their names, had you ever met them before?
No. Nope.
Not anybody that you're particularly friends with or anything like that?
No. I know them, who they are, from seeing them maybe at a sporting event or something, but I've never been introduced to them.
And when you say sort of sporting events in relation to...
Check out her posturing. Look how she's sitting. She's like this. She's slouchy. She's chewing gum. Dirty paws on Julie Albert. Not even sorry. Suck it, you fucking. Look how she holds herself. She doesn't have much confidence. I mean, she's married to Chris Albert, but interesting. Dirty paws. Sorry, babe. Not sorry. Someone get the woman some mascara, for goodness sake. Bit of cheek shit.
Relationship one.
If they were at like a basketball game and I was at a game, like I've just seen them around. I'm assuming probably sporting events, probably a basketball game.
And I'm sure it's pretty well understood with this. I just want to clarify. So when you say sporting events, these are kids' sporting events?
Kids sporting events, yes.
And so which kids' sporting events?
Pause game
that
strong.
You would see this couple that you didn't know?
Your
kids or something?
No, Jennifer McCabe's kids.
Okay.
We're waiting
So
for
you would
it,
go to
Eddie.
sporting events for Jennifer McCabe's kids and see this couple.
Yes.
And if you know about how long after
Sirens.
this Brian Albert and Mr. Higgins arrived, did the McCabe's and this other couple?
You wanted to do this? Do like this?
I don't remember exactly.
But after Mr. Albert.
Not even annoying.
Correct.
Now then, you mentioned Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed came in at some point as well.
Mm-hmm.
Back to hair.
So you have
Yes.
to make sure.
Back to relevant hair talk. I think maybe that strand of hair is she doesn't want to be there. Well, obviously, she's got to lie on the stand. Awkward. That's a bit awkward. Surely someone with any sense of moral compass would feel like this is a shit go and a shit show. Do you think that hair across her face is people often have fringes and teenagers pull their hair on their face because it's a confidence thing? She doesn't have much confidence in the way she's sitting with herself. Even her slouchy jumper. She's not dressed to impress, is she? She's so bland. She's very Coco Albert. Very Coco Albert.
Sure, you say yes or no, okay? And the other thing you say, I assume or I guess, don't answer. Okay. If you don't know, you don't.
Okay.
She needs all of my kids. She needs all of it.
What time was it that Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed came?
Before
Sirens.
11 o'clock?
This one. Good one, RH. Good one.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
this
with
is Jen.
reference
No, this
to
no.
When
No. Adam, this is
Mr.
Okay.
O'Keefe and
Julie. Wait, Julie is Jill. Chat, help me out here. Julie is Jill Daniels' sister, yeah? Coco, Nicole Albert, and Jennifer McCabe are sisters. She is Jennifer McCabe's sister-in-law by marriage. Wait. Yes, the family tree. So Chris Albert and Brian Albert are married. Jennifer McCabe is married, is Nicole Albert's sister. So she's an in-law by marriage. She's a sister by marriage. Matt McCabe's a sister by marriage. Jill Daniels is just a skeletal leather couch.
the defendant
Not
Miss
married.
Reed came into the waterfall. Where
Right,
were you
Jess?
in relation
Right.
to sort of the high top table that you were describing?
I was at the top of the high top table closest to the door.
And when they came in, where did Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant go?
John walked in and said hello and kept on walking, I think, to the bar. And Karen came in and stopped at the table to talk for a minute.
It is, AJ. It
And
is.
during the time that she stopped at the table to talk for a minute, what, if anything, did she do?
She opened her jacket and had a glass and pulled the glass out and started drinking the drink.
I don't know. There's so many
And
links.
as far as the drink in the glass, what, if anything, did you observe? as
What,
far as
if
color
anything?
or anything like that?
Clear.
And the glass that she had, could you see? So the clear liquid inside it, how much of the glass was full of that?
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
And she placed it on the table, is that correct?
Yes.
And what was your reaction to that?
I think I laughed and said, made a comment like, you're crazy or something, just because she walked in with the glass.
Look at her facial expression. She's like, fuck this shit. This is fucked. Fuck this
Now,
shit.
did you know where Mr. O'Keefe and Ms. Reed had been coming from prior to them getting to the waterfall?
I haven't
Yes.
checked my emails yet,
Where
Reese,
were they
but thank you. I did get
CF
them.
McCarthy's.
You're familiar with that establishment? as well?
Yes.
And where is that in relation to the waterfall?
It's maybe 200 steps right next to my husband's restaurant.
Restaurant.
Same side
That's
of-
bold of
Opposite
you.
side. Opposite side.
On the same side of Washington Street as your husband's restaurant?
Yes.
I've heard that
in
too,
the same
Catherine.
vicinity from D&E to Waterfall, CF.
Yes. Yes.
Now, over the course of the evening, did you have occasion to see Mr. O'Keefe? He was at a bar, he had something to drink, is that correct?
Can you repeat that?
Over the course of the evening, did you have occasion to observe what, if anything, Mr. O'Keefe was
What, if anything?
No, I don't believe. I left very shortly after.
I heard it
They
too,
got
but I
there.
think I heard it
And
here.
so- You left fairly shortly after they arrived?
Yes.
And if you know about how much time are we talking?
Maybe 10, 15 minutes.
And why is it that you left?
I had a terrible migraine.
No, okay, wait. Chat.
From the van being so close?
Yes.
And when you left?
One's in the chat if you get migraines. If you suffer from migraine, I'll be dropping a 1. Let's listen to this testimony. What was I going to say? Sorry, I'm reading a message again. One's in the chat. Oh my God, focus, Lisa. Shorty, jeez. One's in the chat if you get migraine. And then let's watch the way she describes how she was feeling that night with that ostensible migraine. She might get migraines, but if she did, she would testify to this differently, I think. She says she was sitting up in bed when Chris Halbert got home. I don't know about you, chat. One's in the chat if you get migraines. There's no sitting up. There's lying down. There's no looking at your phone. There's no watching anything. You're just trying to get through the sufferance, the agony.
When you left, where did you go?
Home.
And when you got home, as far as your children on that evening,
Yes, you got to answer
who
with a
was home,
question,
who was
a
out
word.
if you know?
My youngest son was home, and my oldest son didn't live at home. He lived in California at the
Right.
time,
Okay, lots of migraine sufferers.
and my middle son was not home.
And so your oldest son, Christopher, he was in the Navy at that point?
He was in the Navy, and he was stationed in San Diego. Yes.
And so your middle son, Colin, he was out. Did you know where he was?
Yes. He was at, I believe, his friend Michael Leonetti's house.
And at some point, did you learn that Colin had gone from
Lots of
that person's house
migraine.
to somewhere else?
Yes.
Is this him communicating with you?
Yes.
And that other
Restaurant,
place that he
loose
went to,
term.
do you know where that was?
Yes. My brother and sister-in-laws, Nicole
Lucky
and
you,
Brian
Eddie.
Albert's house on Fairview Road.
And was that in relation to your nephew and his birthday?
Yes.
Now, while you were, if I could take it back to the waterfall just for a second. So while you were at the waterfall, obviously you see Mr. O'Keefe and Ms. Reed come in. Do you recall what Mr. O'Keefe was wearing?
I know he had a hat on. He had jeans on. And he had something with a hood.
And maybe by the next day, early in the morning, you feel okay enough to get up and get donuts in a fucking blizzard for your 23-year-old baby Brian nephew. Keep watching. Let's see what she says about it. I don't believe it.
And
I don't believe it.
from your observations, did you ever see him with like a winter coat?
I'm still here. Sorry, chat. I somehow swiped myself out. Hang on there, StreamYard. God damn it. I did pull the Melanie little. Yikes. Hang on. I got so excited about migraines and shit. Yikes. At least I'm not muted. Oh, we missed a few seconds. Don't stress, chat. You'll realize we're good.
Stationed in San Diego. Yes.
And so your middle son, Colin, he was out.
No,
Did you know
we
where he
good.
was?
We good.
Yes. He was at, I believe, his friend Michael
You
Leonetti's
get a
house.
mouse.
And at some point, did you learn that Colin had gone from that person's house to somewhere else?
Yes.
Is this?
I'm a professional,
communicated with
Jess.
Yes.
you? And that other place that he went to, do you know where that was?
Yes. My brother and sister-in-laws, Nicole and Brian Albert's house on Fairview Road.
And was that in relation to your nephew and his birthday?
Yes.
Now, while you were, if I could take it back to the waterfall just for a second. So while you were at the waterfall.
I think that Lally adds all the words because he too lacks confidence and conviction in what he's saying and doing, in his own abilities. I think also when he cross-examines, during the defense case in chief, his little pit bull kind of like little chihuahua attitude is also deflection. He adds all those words because, you know, people who speak with conviction just say it. They don't fuck around with all these extra words. He doesn't know what he's going to say, and he puts all this bullshit in. I think the what if any is a verbal tick. It's a habit. It's very much allowable and appropriate occasionally during examination by an attorney. Not who, if anyone, was driving the ambulance. For fuck's sake, Lally. But yeah, that's
Waterfall, obviously you see Mr. O'Keefe and Ms. Reed come in. Do you recall what Mr. O'Keefe was wearing?
I know he had a
migraine
hat on.
hangover, right? Wait.
He had jeans on, and he had.
I call it like a migraine hangover. You might not have the migraine anymore, but you feel and look like death. You're not getting up. I don't care. I mean, she looks like a bit of a martyr, but I mean, we've already established Duncan wasn't open that day, so whatever, Julie.
Something with the hood.
And from your observations, did you ever see him with like a winter coat or a jacket or anything like that?
I did not.
And with regard to the clothing that you observed him wearing, what, if anything, did you observe as far as the condition of that clothing? And that, I mean, was it torn? Was it disheveled? Anything like that?
No, nothing.
I did
Nothing
too,
that I
Adam.
remember.
It's just.
And with regard to Mr. O'Keefe, as far as
It's not here.
what, if anything, did you observe about
What,
him
if
as far as
anything?
injuries or anything?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Now, with reference to your group as far as at the waterfall.
No, not open.
How would you describe sort of the overall demeanor or tone of the group and what was going on then?
He had more
Just
boldness.
normal. I thought it was just normal. Sitting listening to a band.
So at least during the time that you were there were no sort of arguments or disagreements or anything like that?
Nope. Nothing.
And specifically to Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant, Ms. Reed, while you were there, during the short time that you were there, when they were there, did you observe anything as far as any arguments or disagreements or anything like that?
No, I did not.
Now, at the time,
Thanks, babe.
so during that time between when they arrived, you mentioned that John went up to the bar, correct?
Yes.
And where did the defendant?
She talked to me at the top of the table for a few minutes, and then I believe she made her way down the table to either Jennifer McCabe or the couple that was at the end of the table to speak with.
The Colakeithuses.
And was it during that period of time that you had enough of the migraine and went home?
We like them.
Yes, I left very, very shortly after that.
Now, during the time that you were there and you were speaking with the defendant down sort of your end of the table, what, if anything, was discussed as far as sort of where to go, what to do after the water?
I do know that, I do remember, I'm sorry, that Karen had asked if we could go back to D&E, my husband's store, and make pizza, because that's something we frequently do if we're out at the end of the night, if we're hungry.
And was that something that you had discussed with Ms. Reed either on that date or on a prior day?
I believe.
I believe. You're not saying that with conviction either. I believe. So, oh, shay. Let's go back and listen. I want to watch her eye line on this. Yeah.
I thought it was just normal. Sitting listening to a band.
With a migraine.
So at least during the time that you were there were no sort of arguments or disagreements or anything like that?
Nope. Nothing.
And specifically to Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant, Ms. Reed, while you were there, during the short time that you were there, when they were there, did you observe anything?
What's
as
your
far
eye
as
line?
any arguments or disagreements or anything like that?
No, I did not.
Now, At
She's
the
a shifty
time,
bitch.
so during that time between when they arrived, you mentioned that John went up to the bar, correct?
Yes.
And where did the defendant go?
She talked to me at the top of the table for a few minutes, and then I believe she made her way down the table to either Jennifer McCabe or the couple that was at the end of the table to speak with.
And was it during that period of time that you had enough of the migraine and went home?
Yes, I left very, very shortly after that.
Now, during the time that you were there and you were speaking with the defendant down sort of your end of the table, what, if anything, was discussed as far as sort of where to go, what to do after the water?
I do know that, I do remember, I'm sorry, that Karen had asked if we could go back to D&E, my husband's store, and make pizza, because that's something we frequently do if we're
Watch
out
rice,
at the end of the
watch
night,
rice,
if
watch
we're
rice.
hungry.
And was that something that you had discussed with
Interesting.
Reed either on that date or on a prior date?
I believe we discussed just that we went there once, and we said next time she'll have to come with us.
And was that something that was discussed as a possibility or something that was going to happen that night?
I think right away, I just wasn't going to do that because I wasn't feeling well. And I think I might have said, talk to Chris, because I wasn't going to do it.
And is that something that she mentioned over the course of that evening, once, more than once, or something?
Just once to me.
She's thinking. She's thinking. Put the other side behind your ears, you dumb bitch.
So when you get home, at some point, the rest of your family came home at some point in the evening, correct?
Yes.
And
Hey, Kenny.
who came home first? Your husband, Christopher, or your son, Colin?
My husband.
Do you know about what time that was?
I want to say about after 12, maybe 12:10, around there.
So sometime around 12:10?
Sometime around 12:10, yes.
And what, if anything, do you recall specifically about when your husband, Christopher, came home?
He came upstairs to my room. He was shivering because it was cold out.
And dirty.
He immediately went into the bathroom, got undressed, and got into bed.
And we established last night that Chris Abbott is revolting from head to toe and inside and out, and everything that comes out of his mouth is disgusting, including didn't wash his face, didn't have a shower, didn't brush his teeth. I would speculate that he didn't even take his damn shoes off because he's a grub. Blech.
And your son, Colin, have you been in communication with
Yes.
him over the evening?
Yes.
And about how long was it after your husband came home that your son, Colin, came?
10 to 15 minutes.
And were you essentially waiting up for him?
Oh, yes. Yep.
Oh, Margaret, good spot.
Yes. I do not go to bed until my kids are home.
And is there another common practice as far as when your kids come home, where do they go when they first come in?
They immediately will always come in the door, maybe grab a water out of the fridge and come upstairs and give me a kiss goodnight and tell me that they're home.
Colin, you
Now,
kiss your
did
mother
that
with that
happen
mouth,
this day?
Colin
Yes.
Albert? Bang, bang.
And so
I'll beat
Colin
your
came
ass.
into
I
your
will
room at
fuck
some
you
Yep,
up.
he came right upstairs.
Pull
Yes.
up, bitch.
And when Colin came into your room and he came upstairs, did you have occasion to observe him as far as talk to him, obviously?
Yes, we talked for a minute. He asked me if I was feeling better. And yeah, we talked for a moment.
Did you
During
know?
that conversation
Did
that you
you?
had with Colin, similar to what I had asked you with regard to Mr. O'Keefe, what, if any, injuries or anything did
Okay, so last night, Chris, Grub, Albert, we recall that even at the time that this testimony didn't align, and I'm pretty sure that this is we go into this in cross-examination, because Chris did not say anything about having a couple of words to his mother. Sorry, wait, that Colin had said a few words to Julie. Excuse me. So this is impeachable stuff. Shots fired. I'll be firing shots all over the place. Bukkake shots, verbal shots. I mean, I can't really fire Bukkake shots, but I'll receive them.
did you observe on your son, Colin?
None.
I said what I said.
And fair to say the next day, at some point, you talked to and had interaction with your son?
Yes.
What, if any, injuries or anything did you observe?
None. None.
So I know this is sort of hard, so wait till Mr. Lally finishes his question
Okay.
before answering, okay?
He's like, but I know what he's going to ask me. I can just like answer.
Now, after your son Colin came home, and you
Turd, God, I love you guys. My Avengers. Thank you, Turd Ferguson, for gifting 5 memberships. Who got them? Sweetie got one. Kenny got one. T. Salis, Shona Lee, and Desiree D. Love the D. Thank you, Turd. Mwah, love your faces. There's pretty cool members only emotes for you to use at your pleasure. Ernie likes to use them a lot. So do I. The more members we have, the more members only emotes I can add in. We're at our capacity at the moment. It's a pretty cool place to hang out here. So thank you so much, Turd. Love your face. You're the besticles. Just like testicles, only better, Turd.
you eventually went to bed, is that right?
Yes.
And turning your attention to the next morning, the Saturday morning of the 29th.
This.
About what
Thanks,
time
Adam.
was it that you woke up?
I woke up about
Bang, bang.
8-ish.
And with regard to your nephew, Brian Jr., whose birthday it was now on the 29th, what, if any, sort of tradition do you have with respect to him and his birthday?
Every
No,
year
I love
on
you.
his birthday, I go to Dunkin' Donuts. I get him 6 donuts, and I bring them to the house, and I leave them there with the card
Verticals,
before he
right?
gets up. So when he wakes up, they're there. I've been doing it for years.
My hair's
And
annoying
is
me.
that what your intention was on this morning as well?
Yes.
And is that what you did on that?
Yes.
Now, when you woke up, probably like most people, at some point did you look at your phone?
Yes.
And when you looked at the screen to your phone, what, if anything, did you see?
I had a missed call from my friend Jen McCabe.
And was there any sort of notation in regard to the missed call as to what time that missed call had come in?
Oh.
But it was 5:55 maybe.
5:55 sounds rehearsed also. Thank you, T. Salis. Paying it forward. Amazing. Gifting 5 memberships. Gifting 5 memberships. It's raining green in the chat at the moment, y'all. Cool. Britt got one. Ada got one. Kim Marie got one. Smarter Hari and Beautiful Soul. I love this. Thank you so much, guys. It's really fun. Really fun, really kind, really generous. Building community is what I'm all about. Absolutely. Thank you.
So sometime earlier in the morning.
Early morning, yes.
And beyond the missed call, was there any other sort of stamp or notification on the phone as far as a voicemail, text message?
Nope. I'm sorry. No, there was not.
And not from Mr.
Steph.
Correct.
And not from anybody else.
Correct.
And at any point in time on that morning over the phone, did you speak with Mr. K?
No, I did not.
And did you call her? So you didn't call her back or anything like that?
I did not.
Wait.
And so after you wake,
Like I wasn't paying attention, which is standard, Shorty. So let me just skip back here because, like, come on now. Let's be fucking focused and serious about this shit. God damn it. Why am I like this? Why such a long face? You funny, Steph. Oh, I went back a little too far. No
So
surprise there.
when you get home, at some point, the rest of your family came home at some point in the evening, correct?
Yes.
And who came home first? Your husband, Christopher, or your son, Colin?
My husband.
Oh my
You know about what time
God.
that was?
Stop
I want to
it.
say about after 12, maybe.
Adam, thank you. Thank you. My goodness. Alice Teep, Jen Willow, Freedom Lover, Nancy Six, and Timothy Riley. Yay. Thank you, Adam. I love you. I love you all. Cool.
12:10, around there.
So sometime around 12:10?
Sometime around 12:10, yes.
And what, if anything, do you recall specifically about when your husband, Christopher, came home?
He came upstairs to my room. He was shivering because it was cold out. And he immediately went to the bathroom, got undressed, and got into bed.
And your son, Colin, have you been in communication with him over the evening?
Yes.
And about how long was it after your husband came home that your son called?
10 to 15 minutes.
And were you essentially waiting up for him?
Oh, yes. Yep.
Is that sort of common practice?
Yes. I do not go to bed until my kids are home.
And is there another common practice as far as when your kids come home, where do they go when they first come in?
They immediately will always come in the door, maybe grab a water out of the fridge and come upstairs and give me a kiss goodnight and tell me that they're home.
Now, did that happen on this occasion?
Yes.
And so Colin came into your room at some point?
Yep. He came right upstairs. Yes.
And when Colin came into your room and he came upstairs, did you have occasion to observe him as far as talk to him, obviously?
Yes. We talked for a minute. He asked me if I was feeling better. And yeah, we talked for a moment.
And during that conversation that you had with Colin, similar to what I had asked you with regard to Mr. O'Keefe, what, if any, injuries or anything did you observe on your son Colin?
None.
None.
And fair to say the next day at some point you talked to and had interaction with your son?
Yes.
What, if any, injuries or anything did you observe?
None. None.
So I know this is sort of hard, so wait till Mr. Lally finishes his question
Okay.
before answering, okay?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Now, after your son Colin came home, and you eventually went to bed, is that right?
Yes.
And turning your attention to the next morning, the Saturday morning of the 29th, about what time was it that you woke up?
I woke up about 8-ish.
And with regard to your nephew, Brian Jr., whose birthday it was now on the 29th, what, if any, sort of tradition do you have with respect to him this birthday?
Every year on his birthday, I go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Like a
I get
fucking
him
champion.
6
Welcome, new
donuts.
members.
And I bring them to the house and I leave them there with a card before he gets up. So when he wakes up, they're there. I've been doing it for years.
And is that what your intention was on this morning as well?
Yes.
And is that what you did on that?
Yes.
Now, when you woke up.
Thanks, me. You're welcome, me.
Probably like most people, at some point did you look at your phone?
Yes.
And when you looked at the screen to your phone, what, if anything, did you see?
The least I could do.
I
Amy.
had a missed call from my friend Jen McCabe.
And was there any sort of notation in regard to the missed call as to what time that missed call had come in?
But it was 5:55 maybe.
5:55, live 50 live. Alice, hi, welcome. So we're just going over, I think Adam just dropped it in the chat too, but we're just going over some of the testimonies that from the Karen Reid trial, obviously. Sham, fiasco, debacle, and just seeing what we spot, knowing what we know now a few months later. What is it? May, July, August, September, October. 3 months later, all that water under the bridge, what we've seen of these bad actors and their behaviors in public, online, since, and just it's quite incredible what we've been noticing whilst reviewing these testimonies, sort of blow by blow. Thanks for being here.
So sometime earlier in the morning.
Early morning, yes.
And beyond the missed call, was there any other sort of stamp or notification on the phone as far as a voicemail, text message?
Nope. I'm sorry. No, there was not.
Bev just said, I'm sorry.
Not from Ms. McKay, correct?
Correct.
And not from anybody else?
Correct.
Correct.
And at any point in time on that morning over the phone, did you speak with Ms. McKay?
No, I did not.
Right, Margaret?
And
Lol.
call her, so you didn't
Lol.
call her back or anything like that?
I did not.
And so after you wake up, at some point you go to Dunkin' Donuts and get the 6 donuts?
Good
Yes.
synopsis. Okay, donuts.
Where
Wait,
did you
wait,
go?
pay attention.
I drove to
I'll go
34th
back. I'll go
Fairview.
back.
And
Thank
when
you, Ms.
arrived
Adventurous
at
Book Mouse.
34th
Mwah.
Fairview, where did you park in relation to the house?
God
I
damn
pulled
it.
into the driveway.
And when you came up to the house,
Honestly, if anyone in this universe could benefit from ADHD medications, it would be me.
I woke up about
Sadly, raw dogging it against YouTube and the world. And this is what we get. We get me not paying attention to the important parts. God damn, God knows I missed the kill me now or kill me from Tripagorino. We sat through 3 hours of that and I didn't see it.
about 8-ish.
With a migraine.
And with regard to your nephew, Brian Jr., whose birthday it was now on the 29th, what, if any, sort of tradition do you have with respect to him this birthday?
Every year on his birthday, I go to Dunkin' Donuts. I get him 6 donuts, and I bring them to the house, and I leave them there with a card before he gets up. So when he wakes up, they're there. I've been doing it for years.
And is that what your intention was on this morning as well?
Yes.
And is that what you did on that?
Yes.
Now, when you woke up,
A Bukkake ritual?
probably like most people, at some point did you look at your phone?
Yes.
And when you looked at the screen to your phone, what, if anything, did you see?
I had a missed call from my friend Jen McCabe.
Jennifer
And was there any
McCabe.
sort of
I fucked my hair.
notation in regard to the missed call as to what time that missed call had come in?
To my understanding, yes.
It was 5:55 maybe.
So sometime earlier in the morning.
Early morning, yes.
A whole playlist.
Beyond
whole playlist.
the missed call, was there any other sort of stamp or notification on the phone as far as a voicemail, text message?
Nope. I'm sorry. No, there was not.
And not from Miss McKay, correct?
Correct.
And not from anybody else?
Do you know what, Margaret? I noticed where I've been working on my night shifts that, because I always debunk the whole Foster's thing, that it's purely an export beer, right? We don't drink Foster's in Australia. I don't drink beer at all. But there was an advert, a billboardy thing, on the bottle shop. The what do you guys call it? Like where you buy alcohol, bottle-o, we call it here. Advertising Foster's. Admittedly, it looked like it had been there for about 3 decades. The ad, the billboard, little small thing, placard. But enjoy your beer.
Correct.
And at any point in time on that morning over the phone, did you speak with Miss McKay?
No, I.
Thank you, Sharon. Goodness me. Tommy got one. Tommy 2274. Ditto. Andrea Healy. Lugly Leela and that weird girl Kim. Welcome to membership, y'all. Little shorties unite. Yes, yes. Oh God. Save me. Thanks, Sharon. Oh, what am I doing with my life? And with this thing. Get a mouse.
No, I did not.
And did you call her? So you didn't call her back or anything like that?
I did not.
And so after you wake up, at some point you go to Dunkin' Donuts and get the 6 donuts?
Yes.
And where did you go with those?
I drove to 34 Fairview.
Okay, pay attention.
And when
Me
you arrived
and you.
at 34 Fairview, where did you park in relation to the house?
I pulled into the driveway.
And when you came up to the house and you were driving to the house, at this point, what was the weather like?
It was coming down. The snow was coming down pretty good.
And with reference to the house, what, if anything, did you notice out of the ordinary with regard to the house or the street or anything else?
Jennifer McCabe's car was in the driveway.
Here we go.
And
what's her
other
facials?
Vehicles on the street or anything like that? What was going on at that point?
I don't recall. I don't.
Nothing you can recall?
No.
But what time was this that you got there?
Yes. What time was it?
8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oh, I can't remember the story. Damn it. Oh, it's important.
When
This is
you
important.
get there, you pull in the driveway. What did you do?
I opened my car door. I got out to walk to the car in front of me to leave the donuts and card inside my nephew Brian's car.
In the snow?
And Brian Albert came to the door. Brian Albert Sr. came to the door and he told me to come in, asked me to come in for a second. And I said that
snap.
I didn't need to. And he said, I'm just leaving these.
Weird. Auntie Julie gets donuts for baby Brian for his birthday. And she doesn't need to come in. She didn't want to come in. I told him I didn't want to come in, she's about to say. I remember then, as I remember now, the Freudian, well, the slip asked me, Brian Albert asked me to come in. Julie, babe.
Get this gift for Brian Jr. And he said, no, just come in for a second. So I went into the house.
And when you walk into 34 Fairview Road on that morning, who, if anyone else, was there?
Nicole Albert, Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, Jennifer McCabe, and Matt McCabe.
And where were they in relation to the house?
In the kitchen.
And what, if anything, did they tell you at that time?
When I first walked in, nothing. Everyone was just sitting there, and I was looking around, and everyone was visibly upset. And I asked, what's going on? And another maybe 30 seconds went by, and Jen said,
Darlene, bold of you to assume that that Julie's telling the truth here, that she actually did get donuts. I think it's an elaborate ruse. If you watch, who was it? I think it was JFK speculating. Yes, it was JFK speculating that Julie was already waiting because who plowed her driveway to let her out of the house at 8:30, 9 o'clock? Why was she already up post migraine, if there was even a migraine? Where was she? Was she the one who was supposed to find Officer John O'Keefe? Was the whole getting donuts for Brian Jr.'s birthday a ruse? But sadly, luckily, Karen managed to, after a lot of stalling and throwing off by Jennifer McCabe and Kerry Roberts, managed to get them round there to the house much earlier. So the hostelong to dying cold would have been a surefire thing, well, it was, but the making sure that Officer John O'Keefe was dead by the time that Julie got to 34 Fairview at 8:30, 9 o'clock to bring the donuts in. However, spanner in the works, a swerve, if you will, to use JFK's term, in the McAlbert storyline. So, but back to Darlene, I don't think people have said that Duncan wasn't open that morning. I mean, just because she's saying it on the stand doesn't make it true.
something's happened to John.
Something.
And
Something.
I said, John, she said, John O'Keefe. And I said, is he okay?
Objection.
No, I'm going to allow it.
Stay with us now, Arlene, and go back to the beginning.
And she said, we don't know.
Afterwards.
And that was that.
Sorry, I shouldn't have talked over it. Annoying.
And after hearing that information,
no, closed.
How long were you at your brother and sister-in-law's house that night?
Probably about half hour, 45 minutes, maybe.
And where did you go from there?
I went home to wake my husband up to let him know what had happened.
And at some point after you go home and wake up your husband, where did you and your husband go?
We went back to third. I woke up my husband, told him what had happened, and we went back to Fairview.
And so the second time that you had gone back to Fairview, how long a period of time were you there then?
I would say probably half hour, not long.
And then after that half hour or so, where'd you go after that?
Back home to my house.
Now, during either of those occasions when you were at 34 Fairview Road on the morning of the 29th, you had occasion to talk and observe Brian Albert Sr., correct?
Yes.
And similar to the questions that I asked you.
This, Taryn, this. Why didn't she just call Chris? Red flags are flying. There's so much fuckery here. So much fuckery. Ernie may have the answer straight up. Yes. Why drive all the way back home in a blizzard? Big red flag. Because the plans, everything changed, right? Everything changed. They were doing this on the fly. Ugh. There's no such thing as a foolproof plan. Particularly not when you're covering up a fucking murder, right? Although, we're getting ready for round 2 of trial, huh? And Chris walked home. Exactly. Let's keep going. It's very, very fucking suspicious. We can say all this now with conviction, yeah? Because it's been months. We've all spent, well, mostly all of us, maybe not Adam so much because he's not as much of a diehard as me on this, but we know this inside out, back to front, right? We know the things. We can recall the times and the dates and the missteps in these lies, and this is fucking sus.
With regard to Mr. O'Keefe and your son Colin, What, if any, injuries or anything out of place did you note with respect to Brian Albertine?
Nothing that I saw.
Welcome, Anna.
And, same question with respect to Mr. Higgins, as far as you made observations and spoke at least in the same room as him on that morning?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did you observe as far as injuries or anything else on Mr. Higgins?
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm stiff.
When you woke up your husband that next morning, your other two sons, being Colin and Dylan, they were at home still?
Yes, they were at home still asleep.
And with regard to when you went to Fairview, came back.
Oh God,
your
Darlene.
husband went back to Fairview and then came back again.
The big screen. Yikes.
I don't remember.
You recall?
Wait, I talked over the top of
Well,
it.
let me
God
put
damn
this
it.
way. As far as your sons, did either of your sons?
Hang on. Of course I talked over important stuff and she had to think a long time. She's losing the story now. Maybe the nicotine gum has worn off and she needs to get a fresh piece. Oh, dirty pause. Sorry, not sorry. I think any pause is going to be a dirty pause with Julie Albert, right? She's not the freshest looking spring chicken.
Nothing.
Nothing.
When you woke up your husband that next morning, your other two sons, being
We go
Colin
all right.
and Dylan, they were at home still?
Yes, they were at home still asleep.
And with regard to
Taryn.
when you went to Fairview, came back with your husband, went back to Fairview, and then came back again, were they still asleep?
I don't remember.
You recall? Well, let me put it this way. As far as your sons, did either of your sons come back with you to Fairview Road that day?
No, they did not.
And do you recall whether or not either Colin or Dylan was awake when you left the second time to go to Fairview?
I don't.
Hi, guys. Look at that $1,000 stare. Whoa. Wait. She's all up in her feels at the moment, isn't she? Look at that. Hang on. Sorry, let's just get it back a tiny little bit. Sorry, chat, this is important. I'm not even sorry. It's my channel. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I'm joking. Taryn doesn't love it when I talk over the top of all these questions. I don't love it either. Sorry. I like to try and pause it. So if I talk over the top or don't pay attention, we need to watch it again.
And with regard to when you went to Fairview, came back with your husband, went back to Fairview, and then came back again, were they still asleep?
I don't remember.
The story.
You recall? Well, let me put it this way. As far as your sons, did either of your sons come back with you to Fairview Road that day?
No, they did not.
And do you recall whether or not either Colin or Dylan was awake when you left the second time to go to Fairview?
I don't.
That. Okay. So much sadness. So we can have some empathy here, right? I've been giving her a bit of a roast, but we can have some empathy here. This is a woman who has lost what? I don't know. 40 pounds, 50 pounds since those photos of her and Grub Albert, her husband, on Officer John O'Keefe's lawn, his fence. She is all up in her feels now. We can have some empathy here. By association, and none of these people asked to be in this, right? None of them. The key three, yeah? Higgins, Big Bad Brian A, and her son, Colin. Questionable, but her son, for all intents and purposes. Their lives have been ruined because of 3 fucking idiot men. And whatever they did there that night, so much sadness here. I do feel for her. I do feel for her.
At some point, a few days after this, did you have occasion to meet with a couple troopers from the state police?
Yes, I did. They came to my home.
And when you say they, how many of them came to you?
there were two.
And you spoke to them that day in reference to what you had observed at the waterfall, everything you just testified.
Yes, I did.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Jamie, could she though? That's a very binary attitude. Like, it's all good and well for us to look back, and of course, everybody should do the right thing. Everybody should. Everybody should. Poppy, don't lick me. I love you. Everybody should do the right thing. But remember, she is the sister-in-law. This is a very incestuous, enmeshed family unit. Yeah, highly enmeshed in a very small town. I think it's easy for us to sort of virtue signal and say what she should have done, and of course she should have done things. I don't know how nice of a person Chris Albert is. Doesn't feel like much of a nice guy to me. We've seen his behaviour in public. Imagine what a fuckwit he is in private. Imagine how he treats his wife. I'm sorry, I don't get much of a loving vibe from that man. She doesn't look like she's particularly loved, does she? I just think we can have a little bit of kindness. What she's doing isn't right. Of course not. Of course not. What any of them doing isn't right. But they're all caught up in this. It's very enmeshed. It's her son. Her son is in this. Colin was in the house. Everybody says it. How would that feel as a mother, knowing in your heart of hearts, probably knowing factually that your son was involved in this murder, and that, like, I can't imagine it's easy for her. It's not right, but it's not easy. So we have a little bit of kindness in our hearts here on this channel, because nothing's black and white, and we are humans with empathy, most of us. I feel for her. Don't feel for Lally. Good old Bettero. That's it, Britt. Yes.
Just one last question.
Thank God, Lally.
You-
Jesus Christ, Lally.
Mrs. Albert, when you came over to Fairview Road that first time with the donuts, as far as the inside of the house, what, if anything, did you observe as far as the condition of the home, or anything about the home that seems abnormal or out of place or off, from the evening before when you were there?
Fair.
Nothing.
I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Tianetti?
Thank you.
Oh, love, it's Nettie again. You Nettie Spaghetti, love your face.
Good afternoon.
I don't know, man. Who knows what sort of physical threats are being thrown out? Brian Albert is a menacing character. He's a horrible person. She's a tiny little slip of a woman. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I think maybe this is where it's eating her inside, because I'm going to speculate. I reckon she probably wants to do the right thing. But this, like, what does a mother do? She is torn here. A mother. Let's just assume that Chris Albert is a fuckwit, yeah, to her, in however that looks, however that manifests itself. I don't know. I just think that her appearance tells the story of the inner conflict that she has felt for the last 2.5 years now. And I mean, I can mock her and throw shade and roast her, but I feel very deep empathy for her, for Nicole Albert. I don't feel any empathy for Kerry Roberts at all. I think she's a horrible person. Don't feel any empathy for Jennifer McCabe, zero. But for someone like Sarah Levinson, Nicole Albert, Julie Albert, I have none for Nagel. Juliana Nagel can fucking eat a big bag of hairy dicks, disgusting dick cheese dicks. She's a revolting human. We'll cover her testimony. But I don't know. Some of these women are, I'm speculating here, but I believe that Julie and Nicole Albert both are very unhappy women. Their appearance, their faces, the color of their skin, the outfits they choose and the color of their outfits, not happy women. You can't stand up for what's right when you're not happy. Speculating, but that's just my 2 cents worth. And that's why you're here. So agree with me, validate me.
Ms. Albert.
Good afternoon.
You and I
Here we
have
go.
met, correct?
Correct.
I just wanted to pick up on a question that, and an answer that Mr. Lally asked you and that you responded to.
Same
He
Kit Kat.
had just asked you whether or not
Thanks, Granny.
a few days later you spoke with a couple of state troopers. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
And your answer was yes?
Yes.
You would agree with me that it was more than just a few days later, correct?
I
It
don't
was
recall.
February 10th of 2022 that two state troopers came to speak with you and your husband, Chris, correct?
Correct.
And so we're talking about 13 days later, almost 2 weeks later, correct?
If that was the date, yes, correct.
Prior to February 10th, no investigator from this case bothered to talk to you or your husband, correct?
Correct.
Now, in terms of the two investigators who did come, you knew one of them quite well, did you not?
I knew them. I wouldn't say quite well, but I knew them.
Okay, and when you say you knew them,
Him. I'm sorry, him.
okay. And who was it that you knew?
Michael Proctor.
Michael Proctor was the brother of one of your close friends, correct?
Correct.
You're close friends with Courtney Proctor, correct?
I am.
And
Sorry to harp on it, but I'll just say one more thing. I just think that it's not that simple. Life isn't that simple. These enmeshed, incestuous, literally, from what not literally, but intermarriage, whatever the rumors are. I just think I don't agree that she's doing the right thing. What she should do, and what she has the capabilities of doing within that circle, I think that's hard to reconcile. Yeah, that's just my opinion. But of course, you all have a right to your own opinion, and I understand. Like I'm passionately furious about all of this. It's a fucking debacle. It's disgusting. Like I've invested a lot of my own money to try and raise money for Karen's defense fund. Like I've invested almost $600 of my own money, not just in donations to Karen, but in my sticker fundraiser. So like I get it. I've spent my time. I'm devoting my time here when I work full time to go over this stuff. I'm not here for the grift. I'm here to pull apart this stuff and see what we can see. But also, like, I'm a very extreme empath. So shut up, Lisa. Keep going. Guys, Yanetti's talking.
by the way, your maiden name is Daniels, correct?
Yeah, there it is.
Yes, it is.
And you have a sister, Jill Daniels, correct?
Yes, I do.
And you would agree that Jill Daniels is also lifelong best friends with Courtney Proctor, correct?
Yes, she is.
And in terms of your relationship with Courtney Proctor, you've socialized with her, do you not?
Objection.
Do you?
Occasionally, yes.
Go out to drinks with her, correct?
Yes.
You've attended parties with
I did say it was all I was going to say. Yes, a man was beaten to death by, I believe, her son, Julie Abbott's son, delivering that fatal blow. I believe that's my theory on what happened. I think Colin came down behind Officer John O'Keefe, into the basement with Higgy, Chloe, and Big Brand Brian A downstairs. I think John went down there, tried to leave. Colin was at the top of the stairs, and he followed John back down the stairs. Higgy threw the first and couple of punches. I think Colin got a weight out of the gym area and smacked him in the back of the head. That's my opinion. That whatever variation of that. But her son was in the house. They did everything in their power to make sure that Colin was not in the house. It's just not that simple, man. It's not the right thing. They all should have done things differently. This should have never happened. None of this. So many twists, so many doors they could have opened, but they chose not to. So many doors they could have. So many things they should have, could have, should have. We all would have. Would we? Yes, we would have. But it's just, I don't feel empathy for her. No, I do. I don't think she's doing the right thing, but I have empathy for her. This is a tough one, guys. Same as Coco, Nicole Albert. Tough. These are the cognitive dissonance that we have to reconcile in our hearts.
with her, correct?
Yes.
You've also provided childcare for her children, correct?
Yes.
Objection. Hold strike.
All right, I'll see you on sidebar on this, Mr. Day. Everybody.
I ain't got no grift. I ain't got no grift. I'm not grifting. AJ, I'm a terrible grifter. This shit is costing me money. I'm joking. I believe it all lays with Big Bad Brian and Higgins. Yes, the rest are paying the price. I love you too. Mwah. I love your faces. I love all of you guys. Colin definitely had something to do with it. They are covering for him and protecting him too much. Absolutely. And then you have to ask yourself, what is the utility in that lie? Why? Well, because Colin clearly was in the house. Colin clearly was an integral part of the assault on Officer John O'Keefe. I don't think he's not smart enough to have had anything to do with what happened after that in the hours and time since. He's a dumb cunt, excuse my language. Wouldn't know shit from Clay. He's an idiot. But they're trying to protect him because they can't let him open his mouth. He's a fool. He's a buffoon like his uncle or his father, either or. They're all grubs. They're murdering grubs. But these women have been tied in to doing their thing that they have to. We don't know what the dynamics are like in their relationships yet. Kit Kat, yes, this channel is the most fun. Watched last night but didn't comment. This is so much fun and it helps that Miss Shorty swears. Lol. I swear a lot. It's not for everybody. I try to stay away from saying Jesus Christ because that's offensive to some people. I've tried to weed that out of my vernacular. The fucks and the cunts are not going to go anywhere. Sorry, Americans. I know that that's jarring for a lot of you. So Colin was just joining in the fight because he likes to fight and he's a little punk. I never understood why he was involved. I never doubted it though. Steph, I think that Colin is a little baby bitch boy, a wannabe. If you've seen the footage of him trying to bitch slap Snapchat videos in a fight, he's a terrible fighter. However, I can imagine him feeling like he was the cool kid amongst Big Bad Brian A and got no game Higgy, that he would come down and go, I'm on this. And the only way he could do anything was to grab a handbrake, my opinion, and clock John on the back of the head. And if that's the case, if that was the thing that shattered John's skull and delivered realistically the beginning of the end, that was the fatal blow, he could have survived the other stuff. Then obviously it's imperative that they don't, that he, you know, that was covered up, my opinion. This is where the party is at. Yes, yes, yes. On Discord, we count. My Discord is fun and informative and loving and supportive and inclusive, but we also count. It's a lot of fun. Join. If you haven't ever Discorded before, it's easy peasy. It's just like a big filing cabinet with different files of different topics. Turd, I loved Melanie's intro you made. Yes, yes. We're working on a video for the Pleven song that Turd wrote. It's so good. She's a very clever songwriter and an AI prompter extraordinaire. Check out her channel. You have to. Look the other way. Yes, Britt. Yes. Yes. I have a theory about the FBI and the people who flipped, but it's long. I guess I could put my thoughts in Discord to see what you all think. Please do, Taryn. I would love to hear it. We all would. I think Colin's punk ass jumped in, and when John said or did something back, the others jumped in. We all know Colin can't fight. Bang, bang. I will beat your ass. Okay, mate. Noted. JFC. I love swearing. Cathartic. I love swearing just how I do. How I do what I do. Couldn't understand why the jury didn't get it when they said, tell them the guy wasn't in the house. Blows my mind. Kit Kat, I wonder whether, well, I don't even wonder, I guarantee you that there was way too much talk about everything. It was far too long. This should have been a 3-week trial. 3 weeks with then deliberating, not including voir dire. Yep. It was by design. They did that by design. Well, Granny, sorry, mate. It's my rules here. I don't say it often because it gets me demonetized, but I've said it twice tonight, so yikes. Sometimes AI doesn't pick it up. The YouTube AI doesn't pick it up. It's like a mafia family. Yes, darling, I agree. Cussing is like seasoning salt in my sentences. It adds a little bit of spice, yeah? I think he was drunk and hit John. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. I stopped cursing for 20-ish years while raising kids, but I'm getting back into it. What? Oh. We're getting back into it with a vengeance, Turd.
So, Ms. Albert, you provided childcare for Courtney Proctor's children?
Objection.
Everything
Need a
does,
time
Margaret.
frame, Ms. Taylor.
Everything.
Have you ever provided childcare for Courtney Proctor's children?
Here we go.
So
Here
you
we
need a
go.
time frame.
Before January of 2022, did you provide childcare for Courtney Proctor's children?
Yes.
When?
Twenty nineteen. 2019.
Just that 1 year?
Yeah, it was pre-COVID. And then when COVID happened and everything shut down, I wasn't helping her any longer.
Okay.
And then occasionally after, I would help just on an as needed basis
Okay.
after COVID.
And
I'll
during
take it,
that year
darling.
of 2019, how often did you watch her children?
2 days a week.
And she had a boy and a girl?
Correct.
What were their names?
Jack and Caroline.
And Jack and Caroline were Trooper Proctor's niece and nephew, correct?
Yes.
The Proctor family in
Deborah Ann, also, she said my room. She said my room. So actually, that would make sense if Chris didn't say, in his testimony said that Colin just stuck his head in the door and said he was home. Julie said that Colin came in and said a few words to her and gave her a kiss. I can't remember if she said he specifically gave her a kiss, but the kids generally would come home and reach in. But she also said, my room. So words matter, yeah. I think you could be onto something there, Deborah Ann. I like it. That's why we're doing this.
trusted you with the care of their children, correct?
Objection.
It's sustained as asked.
You know that Michael Proctor is a state trooper, correct?
Yes.
You knew that he also was from Canton?
Yes.
You knew his wife, Elizabeth Proctor?
Yes.
Oh, think carefully now. Wait. Okay.
You were also.
So now that these are uncharted waters with the questions she's being asked, remember at the beginning when Lally was questioning her, she was firing those answers out before it even finished asking the questions. Now she has to really tread carefully, yeah? There are big, long pauses between the question being finished by David Giannetti and the answers being given. Interesting. We're on normal speed too.
Aware that Courtney Proctor had recommended you to also watch Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor's children, correct?
Objection. Move to strike.
That objection sustained.
No shit, Bev. Fuck off.
But you go back a long way with Courtney Proctor, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you were certainly at her wedding, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Your son
Fancy
was a
that.
ring bearer at that wedding.
Objection.
Okay.
Right, so we'll sustain that through.
Remember in the beginning, if you were here at the start, and I said, I wonder if there'll be any objections whatsoever from the defense while Lally is doing his direct examination. There were none. Also, I wonder how many there'll be once defense starts their cross-examination, and how many Bev will sustain. So far, we're all in. She's got a good track record so far, our Bev.
Through this witness.
Weird.
You've spent time at Michael Proctor's childhood home, have you not?
Yes.
You've been to the pool at the Proctor's house, correct?
Yes.
Hot mic. Hot mic. You are unmuted. We're approaching. Fantastic. This makes me mad all over again that the jury was not allowed notebooks. So many little things we are picking up on, and we have seen this several times, right, Turd? So many things. So many things. It's a mountain of concern, really, isn't it? Ugh. Evil man. So that reminds me, tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, Paul O'Keefe's crotch, not that one. Hard pass. The man behind it is Tim. Paul O'Keefe's crotch, friend of the channel, will be coming on with me at 7 Eastern. We're going to do a watch party of the Dateline special tonight. We can be our emotional support chat to watch the fucking propaganda that will be spewed forth, regurgitated probably. Just say there'll be nothing new. I guess there'll be a spin on it that's going to be very anti-free Karen Reid movement and very anti-Karen Reid, very poo-pooing of the conspiracy theories. Okay, I think if we look at this objectively with critical thinking brains, there's no conspiracy theory here. This is an out-and-out cover-up. More and more and more and more and more evidenced by everything we've learned and continue to learn. Wow, yikes. Hey, Grumpy Granny, thanks for joining. Yoo! Good to have you in the fold. I don't know what we're talking about now. That sounded crazy to me. Why bother having them then? What? I missed it. What? Exactly. Yes, the Granny is an official camper. Camp Shorty, y'all. Oh my God. No feckin' way. What? What are we swearing about? Turds. Yikes. That's okay. No. Understandably, like I have 2 levels and mostly everybody is a little shorty. The perks are the same. Perky. Pervy. Perks. Yes, Ernie. Yes.
How many times have you been to the Proctor's pool?
Who did?
Say maybe a dozen.
And you've certainly taken your children there as well.
Yes.
Colin has been to the Proctor's pool.
Yes.
And you've.
Okay, so she's taking her time to answer. Catherine, you must be, are you in Central Time or are you on Pacific Time? Anyway, we're doing a watch party tomorrow, so it's going to be great fun. Woo!
Seen Michael Proctor's mother and father at that pool, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
You've seen Courtney Proctor and her husband at that pool, correct?
Yes.
Oh, she doesn't want to answer.
You are very close with Courtney Proctor, correct?
How would you define very?
Well, I guess I'd ask you to define very close. Do you deny that you were very close with Courtney Proctor?
No.
Objection, Your Honor.
No, go ahead. Next question. You got your answer.
I didn't hear the answer.
Go ahead. Repeat that.
Do you deny that you were very close with Courtney Proctor?
No.
Okay. You talk regularly, correct?
Here we go.
Yes.
Text
This
each
is
other,
wild.
correct?
Yes.
You also talk by phone.
Very rarely.
Cool.
Is it fair to? Did you say very rarely?
Yes.
Usually it's text.
Oh, wait, I muted myself by mistake.
Did you stand by that?
This is great. I have a short on this. I'm pretty sure. I have so many. I have 87 shorts from this trial. No, wait, I lie. That's my Adelson playlist. I have many. I have about 20 shorts from this trial. I stopped making shorts. I think when I started to realize that this was no fucking laughing matter and I needed to pay proper attention, I just immersed myself completely in watching every day of trial twice on 1.75x speed, then watching all the recaps and watching all the commentary shows and just being a viewer and not a creator. The record screech then I was watching with Emily D. Baker and it was wild. Let's listen to it again. Sidebar. God damn it. I'm not a professional.
Colin has been to the Proctor's pool.
Yes.
And you've seen Michael Proctor's mother and father at that pool, correct?
Yes.
You've seen Courtney Proctor and her husband at that pool, correct?
Yes.
You are very close with Courtney Proctor, correct?
How would you define very?
Well, I
like
guess I'd ask you
besties?
to define
Besties.
very close. Do you deny
like
that you were very close with Courtney Proctor?
No.
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor.
Go ahead. Next question. You got your answer.
No, he
I didn't hear
didn't.
the answer.
No.
Go ahead. Repeat that.
Do you deny that you were very close with Courtney Proctor?
No.
Okay. You talk regularly, correct?
Yes.
You text each other, correct?
Yes.
You also talk by phone.
Very rarely.
Is it fair to? Did you say very rarely? You talk to
Phone.
Courtney Proctor by phone?
Usually it's text.
But Do you stand by that testimony that you talked to Courtney Proctor very rarely by phone?
Do we have a time frame?
Fuck off, Bev. Let her answer.
Do you mean now? Or
Do you mean now? Do you mean now?
Let me ask you this. Between February 1st of 2022 and September 6th of 2022, did you only speak rarely with Courtney Proctor?
I don't recall.
Whatever. Liar. 67 times.
Were you using Courtney Proctor as an intermediary to communicate with Michael Proctor about this case?
Objection.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
No, I was not.
One for the defense. I'll allow it.
Are you aware that between February 1st of 2022 and September 6th of 2022, you and Courtney Proctor spoke by phone 67 times?
67. I knew it. I
Objection.
told you. I know this inside
Are
out.
you
mate.
aware of that?
No, I don't know the exact count.
We know. We know.
You deny that you spoke 67 times?
I don't deny it, but I don't recall the exact amount of times.
67, babe.
So
Could be better. Could be
you
69.
don't deny that you spoke 67 times. You still want to maintain your testimony that you only talked very rarely with Courtney Proctor during that time period.
I just don't remember the exact amount of times.
67, babe.
Well, you know that my client, Karen Reed, was arrested in connection with this case on February 1st of 2022. Do you not?
I do.
So good. I love this. I'm
You
here for it.
spoke to Courtney Proctor that date for 12 minutes by phone, correct?
I don't recall exactly. I don't remember exactly.
Interesting. Suspicious. Very fucking suspicious.
May I approach?
Sure.
She looks so
Look,
defeated.
before I approach, your memory is exhausted as to whether you spoke to Courtney Proctor that day, and if so, how long the two of you spoke?
Yes.
Hot mic. Sorry, I'm just so engrossed. I love you, Nettie. Madam Court Reporter, we salute you. You are iconic.
I'm showing
girl.
you a document with a number of.
Just show it to her.
Right. No, I just wanted to point out which one that I'm pointing out. So
This is where
the
he
third-
gives her his
I was thinking a
readers.
number of lines.
Oh, I love him so
The third
much.
line down, if you would take a look at that specific date and time and see if that refreshes your memory about whether and how long you spoke to Courtney Proctor on February 1st of 2022.
Can you see that, or do you need glasses?
No, I can see it.
No, you can't. Borrow your Nettie's
I
glasses.
do have a
They're
pair
cute.
of readers that I need as well, if you need to borrow them.
Yes, if I could.
Of course.
Thank you. I
And,
left mine downstairs.
I just got these and it's like. the
Mr.
middle-
Yannetti, just bring them up, please.
It took me a while to figure them out, but anyway.
Thank you. I
that's just-
appreciate it.
I love him so much. Oh my God, I love him so much. Best moment. One of the best moments. I love.
It's the third line down.
Third line down. Yes, I see it. I don't.
Get that hair
I
out
don't
of your
recall
face,
this.
girl. Just tuck it.
It's a long time ago. Thank you.
Bothering
And
me.
you say that having seen this record, it does not refresh your memory that you spoke to Courtney Proctor for.
Don't, it does not refresh your memory. That's where you have to leave.
Did Courtney Proctor tell you the day of my client's arrest on February 1st that she had been discussing the case with her brother that day?
Objection.
Sustain.
Oh, fancy that.
Did you speak to Courtney Proctor that day in any fashion?
What day exactly?
The day of my client's arrest on February 1st of 2022.
That was on the sheet you just gave me?
It was.
Well, I did, obviously, if it was on that sheet.
Okay. And when you talked to her, did she tell you that she had discussed the case with her brother?
Objection.
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 Were you notified that Karen was going to be arrested?
Objection.
Sustained.
What did you discuss?
I don't recall.
Fancy that.
The next day, February 2nd of 2022, was the day that my client was arraigned back in Stoughton District Court. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
You
Not for
spoke
court,
to Courtney
Catherine.
Proctor 3 times that day before my client's publicly televised arraignment at 9 a.m. Did you not?
Did you not? I don't recall.
Again, I don't remember.
I don't remember. That's
After
weird.
the arraignment,
That's so weird.
you spoke to her again for 27 minutes, beginning at 10:58 a.m. Did you not?
I don't recall.
Fancy that.
So your testimony is, well, strike that. My client's arrest was pretty big news in Massachusetts, wasn't it?
Objection.
Sustained.
You were
Sustained.
aware that my client had been arrested, correct?
Yes, I had seen it on the news.
So I said it yesterday and last night, and I'll say it again. It doesn't actually matter what the answers are so much in cross-examination. It doesn't matter that, it's frustrating that Bev sustains all the objections. They're unreasonably sustained, in my opinion, in my legal opinion, in my learned opinion, being a law nerd and all that. But the inference is there. Yannetti is dropping the truth bombs, and it doesn't matter. Yannetti won't be caring. He won't be getting frustrated that the Lally's objections are being sustained because he's getting the questions in, and that's all that matters in cross-examination.
You were aware that she was being arraigned the very next day, were you not?
Yes.
This case involved your family, did it not?
How do you mean it?
Well, you knew that John O'Keefe was found dead on your brother-in-law, Brian Albert's lawn, correct?
Correct.
So necessarily your family was involved in this case, correct?
Somewhat, yes.
And you knew that ultimately you...
Taryn, I may get copyright striked. I don't think it'll get taken down. Fair use, I'm allowed to make commentary. I couldn't just restream it. So I couldn't just play it and regurgitate it, but fair use is that you can, I can play it, and I can, like, JFK is having a watch party tonight with it, or has been, would still be. So I couldn't just restream it directly, but because I have a different layout, I have my logos, I'll be stopping and talking, commentating, commentating, both things up on the screen. Yeah, I can do it. It's been done before, and I will do it. Even if I get copyright stricken, all that does is mean that I don't get any revenue from advertisements within the stream. But thank you for caring. Yes, but I can do it. I can do whatever the fuck I want because I'm a fucking delight. And I have plenty of streams where I get copyright stricken because I play things sometimes with music unintentionally. And it's all good. I still get the revenue. Any YouTubers that say have a little meltdown about copyright strike. Yes, if you have 60, 50, 100,000 views on your streams, that is a lot more dollars that you're losing from the ad revenue. But for my streams, it's not like I don't make much money at all off ad revenue, and that's why I choose to speak the way I speak with my potty mouth. Yeah, but thank you for caring. Let's keep going.
You'd probably be talked to by investigators from this case, correct?
I assume so, yes.
Right. Didn't happen for 13 days, but ultimately they did come, correct?
Yes.
All right. So this...
You can't put the shit back in the horse, Steph. Once it's out, it's out. The jury are sensible, well, normally, sensible folk who can draw their own deductions and draw inference from the things. That's why I love trials. I love it.
This case had to have been pretty big news within the Albert family, was it not?
Well, yes. Yes.
You were discussing it with your husband, correct?
Yes.
You were discussing it with your other relatives, correct?
Yes.
You were discussing it with your friends, correct?
I don't know about my friends, but...
Liar. You're friends with your
So
family.
is it
You're friends with the
testimony
McAlberts.
that with all of this going on, you confined your discussions about this case just to your specific family members?
Not necessarily.
No. I mean, clearly, you would have talked to Courtney Proctor about this, correct?
Objection.
So folks, why don't we end here, right?
Oh.
You'll have to be back tomorrow.
Oh, well, there you go.
Jurors, the 3 cautions, please do not discuss this case with anyone. Don't
Let me
do any
find.
independent research or investigation into the case. If you happen to see, hear, or read anything about
Let me just find the
case,
next day. I haven't got
please
that up.
disregard it and let us know. I'll see counsel inside our other jurors. Thank you very much.
You are
Jurors,
muted.
closing your notebooks and leaving.
Jury out. You are muted. Wait, stop sharing. What am I doing here? Stop sharing. Thank you. I'm just getting the next day. Karen Reed. That's why I didn't. Oh, I wonder what she wears tomorrow. Oh, I typed in Karen Freed. Yes. Sorry about my typing. Tap to tap. It's like just 2 fingers. It's not like tapping. Karen Reed trial day 9. Look at me being all professional and shit. What TV is it for me? I don't like law and crime. They have stupid banners on the bottom of their screen. It's annoying. Doesn't suit my branding. All right, what's she got today? What's she wearing? Let me get this queued up. Oh, Bev. Doing Bev shit. Just being Miss Piggy with her clip-in fringe. Oh, she's talking. Got it muted. Unmute. Share stream. Hey, look at this. I'm such a professional. I'm so proud of myself. Lol. Lol? Peach is my color. Thanks, babe. Oh, that. Well, got to go. It is coming on. Thanks. Thanks, Catherine. Catch the rest on replay. Come and watch our watch party tomorrow night too. You can give us the DL on what it's like, this propaganda exercise being run by Dateline this time instead of 2020. Share screen. This, that, and the other. Oh, Bev, babe, you're so revolting. We don't like you. Anything about you at all. I don't like your nostrils. I know you can't do much about your nostrils, but I don't like them anyway. What's he talking about here? What you talking about, Willis?
Speed things up. And make things go more smooth.
Nothing speedy in this trial, Bev.
Those same 3 questions.
Ah,
have
for
you
fuck's sake.
all been able to follow the instruction and refrain from discussing this case with anyone since we left yesterday?
Oh, Bev, I'm just going to mute her because, enough Bev. Too much Bev while we get them people in. Cool, cool, cool. Peach is your color. On my computer, it is pink. Yeah, it is pink. It's like baby pink. It's my favorite color. These are some of the tops they got. I got 15 tops off Shein and like 5 bras for less than $100. Boom, get on it. Not bad on the eyes. Thanks. What, Bev? Ugh, cat, that's disgusting. What do we got? She's still talking up a storm, flicking her hair. She's excited. She's saying stupid things. She's trying to unbutton her gown for David Yannetti. It would be interesting if Dateline takes a different tack to their opposition. I don't think they do, Grumpy Granny. I saw on one of the justice pages that that somebody heard an interview by a Dateline person, maybe a producer, maybe the host of that particular show. Can't remember details, but they got the vibe that it's going to be the same old tropes, like the Free Karen Reed movement are bullies to the family, they're booing the family, conspiracy theories, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. Who we got here? Oh, it's Julie Albert.
I do.
That hair, tuck it behind your ear, woman. I like your top though. I like her top.
Okay, I'm just going to remind you, keep your voice up, please, Ms. Albert,
I will.
okay? All right, Ms. Giannetti?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Has she got gum today? Yes.
Good morning, Ms. Albert.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you will recall yesterday, I broached the topic with you of how often you and Courtney Proctor speak to each other over the phone. Do you recall that line of questioning?
Yes.
And when I asked you to describe the frequency of those phone calls, I didn't put any words in your mouth, did I? I didn't suggest how frequently they were. You came up with the word.
I don't really.
Well, let me put it this way. When I asked you how often you talked to Courtney Proctor, you could have chosen any word in the English language to answer that question, correct?
Correct.
What was the word that you chose?
Bukkake.
Not often.
Bukkake.
I don't remember,
How about
honestly.
rarely?
Rarely. Yes.
That was your word, correct?
It could have been. I don't really
Look
recall.
at that, Jupiter's Delight.
I don't recall.
You don't recall telling this jury yesterday that.
Are you all familiar with the old Jupiter's Delight, which is a phenomenon of people who will smile when they're thinking about or delivering a lie that they think they're pulling a Swiftie on the receiver of that lie? I can't recall what I said. Rarely? Bitch, you said rarely, and you know, and we know you know, and we know you know we know. Keep lying.
That when I asked you about how often you spoke to Courtney Proctor by phone, you said, well, rarely.
I don't remember.
What is your definition of rarely?
I receive Bukkake rarely.
Not daily, not.
I receive Bukkake rarely, as witnessed by my undernourished, under-moisturized face. Hers, not mine.
Yes.
Once in a blue moon?
Do you agree with me?
No.
67 times, Julie Albert.
Rarely doesn't mean to you 67 phone conversations within a 7-month period, does it?
A 67 time period in how many? 8 months?
In about 7 months, 67 times.
It's not a lot. I wouldn't think it's a lot in 7 months.
3 times in one day? Is that rarely?
No, but I'm not. That wasn't every day. I would.
Okay, well, when you left the stand yesterday, did you log into your account or check any old bills to confirm those 67 calls?
No, I did not.
Did you speak to Mr. Lally about those 67 calls after we broke yesterday and before you took the stand today?
I don't believe so, no.
What, you don't believe so?
Courtney Proctor on one of those rare occasions?
I'm going to cough and die. I don't believe so. If you didn't speak to Mr. Lally, Julie, you would say with conviction, no, I did not speak to Mr. Lally in between now and then. Sidebar, it's not allowable or appropriate to talk to any attorneys when you're still sworn in on as a witness. Yes, they broke for the night. Lally knows that. It's not okay.
Yesterday?
No, I did not.
This morning?
No, I did not.
Were you curious as to whether or not you had actually called her those 67 times?
Objection.
Sustained. Sustained.
All right. In any case.
Could be, Britt. However, it's not appropriate or generally allowable for anyone to chew gum in court. Who was it? God, call back. Could it have been the Glairer? I think maybe yes. He was in court. Or was it Betterow? No. Someone was in court. And don't quote me on the details. And one of the bailiffs came and walked over with a piece of paper and held out their hand with that piece of paper and made whoever it was spit out their gum. It's not allowable. She's allowed to do it. Every witness, many of the witnesses would be needing to feel like they needed to be calm. Doesn't matter if you need a durry, a dart, a cigarette. Doesn't matter if you're nervous. It's not generally permissible to chew gum on the stand. Not okay.
Regarding all of those 67.
Or even in court at all. Just saying.
Phone calls from February 1st until September 6th. Do you maintain that during none of those calls or any portion of those calls did you and Courtney Proctor discuss the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe?
I do not remember.
Do you deny discussing that investigation?
I don't deny, but I do not remember.
All right. Well, you admitted yesterday, after having seen the records, that you spoke with Michael Proctor's sister for 12 minutes on February 1st of 2022. Do you recall that?
I don't recall the conversation. No, I don't. It was a long time ago.
Such a smartass.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Finish your answer.
I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. I just don't remember.
Okay. But my question is, after seeing the records, you saw the phone call for over 12 minutes, correct?
Correct.
And you also remember that that was the very day that the police arrested Karen Reed for this case, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
The arrest of Karen Reed on February 1st was pretty big news in Massachusetts, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
You had seen that arrest all over the news, correct?
Correct.
So you certainly, given the day and the fact that it was February 1st and my client was arrested that day, and you're talking to the lead investigator's sister, the subject.
I'm sorry, I just had this mental image, dirty pause. Sorry, not sorry, Julie Albert. Of Julie just ripping out a bong and ripping a massive cone on the stand. Yikes.
If Karen Reed's arrest had to have come up, right?
Objection.
Jackson.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
Ask it differently, Miss Ian.
You certainly mentioned my client's arrest with Courtney Proctor on the very day that she was arrested and you were talking to Courtney, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Now, when we broke for the day yesterday, I had also asked you about the 3 phone calls that you had with Michael Proctor's sister on the morning of February 2nd when my client was arraigned, correct?
Correct.
And you recall that her arraignment was televised publicly, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
You saw her on the news being arraigned, correct?
Correct.
And one of those phone calls after, well, strike that. With regard to the 3 phone calls before the arraignment, you knew at that time that my client had been arrested the day before, correct?
Correct.
And you knew she would be arraigned in court that morning, correct?
Correct.
Certainly, when you were talking to Michael Proctor's sister on February 2nd, before her 9 o'clock arraignment, you were discussing the 9 o'clock arraignment, correct?
Can you repeat the end of that, please?
Sure.
On February 2nd, the day that my client was scheduled to be arraigned in Stoughton District Court, we're talking about the 3 phone calls that you made to Michael Proctor's sister before that arraignment that very day. And my question is, certainly you were discussing the fact that she was about to be arraigned, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
Ask it differently, Miss Iannetti.
Did the subject of Karen Reed's
damn it.
arraignment come up in any of those 3 calls on February 2nd, the day she was going to be arraigned, before her arraignment?
I don't remember exactly.
Fancy that.
What about the
She remembers.
27-minute phone call that you had with Courtney Proctor at 10:58 a.m. that same day after my client was arraigned in court? Did you discuss the arraignment that had just happened?
I do not remember.
You had already testified that by 2022, you were no longer babysitting for Courtney Proctor's kids, correct?
I wasn't babysitting regularly like I was before.
So is it your testimony that you happened to be talking about babysitting on February 2nd for 27 minutes, the same day that my client was arraigned in Stoughton District Court?
I don't remember what I was talking about. It could have been about the kids. It could have been about
the murder.
It could have been about anything.
Could've
I
been
don't
anything.
remember.
Murders, covering up a
certainly
murder.
It could have been about the publicly televised arraignment that had just occurred, correct?
Okay.
Objection.
Sustained.
I'll allow this and then let's move away from this, okay? Can you answer that?
Yes,
You
it could have
answered
been.
that.
Yes.
You allowed it.
Did you tell Courtney Proctor during any of these 67 phone calls that you were a witness in her brother's case?
I don't remember.
Okay. Ms. Albert,
Okay.
you were at the waterfall on the night
Moving on.
of January 28th, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And you
With my
also
migraine.
went to 34 Fairview on the morning of January 29th.
Yes.
Yet, as of the date of these phone calls that we've discussed so far, the February 1st and the February 2nd, multiple phone calls, Trooper Proctor still had not interviewed you, correct?
Here we go.
Correct.
Correct.
You were finally interviewed by Trooper Proctor on February 10th, about 13 days after John O'Keefe was found dead on Brian Albert's farm, correct?
Correct.
And you told Courtney Proctor that you were nervous to speak to her brother, Trooper Proctor, about this case. Do you remember that?
I do not remember those exact words, no.
All right. But you were nervous to speak to him, correct?
Hi, Debbie.
Of course, I was nervous in general for a police interview. I mean, I don't know someone who wouldn't be.
Were you worried that one of Trooper Proctor's colleagues might ask to speak to your son, Colin, about what had happened on the 28th and the 29th?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Was I nervous they would ask my son?
Yeah, were you nervous that one of the investigators in this case
Ooh,
might
snap.
approach your son to ask him about his whereabouts?
No.
All right. In any case, you were interviewed at 5:30 p.m. on February 10th, correct?
Correct.
Where did that interview take place?
At my home in Canton.
Who was present for that interview?
Me, my husband, Trooper Proctor, and Trooper Bukkake.
Where did a lifetime? Let's go.
Agreed to interview you and your husband together, correct?
Oh, gold. Small
Objection.
things are small minds, right? That was great. Bless. Bless.
And certainly it could have been about the publicly televised arraignment
Oh, God, I went
that
back
had
too
just
far.
occurred,
Jesus
correct?
Christ.
Objection.
So I'll allow this.
Can I do it? Oh, my God. I just put hand cream on my hands.
Yes.
And you also went to 34 Fairview on the morning of January 29th.
Yes.
Yet, as of the date of these phone calls that we've discussed so far, the February 1st and the February 2nd, multiple phone calls, Trooper Proctor still had not interviewed you, correct?
Correct.
You were finally interviewed by Trooper Proctor on February 10th, about 13 days after John O'Keefe was found dead on Brian Albert's farm, correct?
Correct.
Here we go.
And you told Courtney Proctor that you were nervous to speak to her
I went back
brother,
too far,
Trooper
but
Proctor,
whatever.
about this case.
Worth it.
Do you remember that?
I do not remember those exact words, no.
All right. But you were nervous to speak to him, correct?
Of course, I was nervous in general for a police interview. I mean, I don't know someone who wouldn't be.
Were you worried that one of Trooper Proctor's colleagues might ask to speak to your son, Colin, about what had happened on the 28th and the 29th?
Objection.
Objection.
Was I nervous they would ask my son?
Yeah, were you nervous that one of the investigators in this case might approach your son to ask him about his whereabouts?
No.
All right. In any case, you were interviewed at 5:30 p.m. on February 10th, correct?
Correct.
Where did that interview take place?
At my home in Canton.
Who was present for that interview?
Me, my husband, Trooper Proctor, and Trooper Bukkake. Bukkake.
Michael Proctor agreed to interview you and your husband together, correct?
Objection.
I have got a short. Do I have a short? I'll make a
You
short.
and your husband were interviewed together, correct?
Correct.
Wait.
Did either of these?
I think I didn't make a short. If I recall, I didn't make a short because everybody else did. And I was like, just get lost in the crowd. I was getting a little bit dejected. I wasn't getting many views on my Karen Reed shorts. And I have shorts that have 40, 50,000 views. I've got one short that's got 2 million views, and I was getting a little butthurt. I didn't make, I'd make a short about it. I absolutely can. I don't know if it's old hat now, but fuck, that was great. Fucking fantastic. I love that shit. Oh, I just realized my light's on over there. Hang on.
These troopers, including Michael Proctor, suggest that maybe the two of you should be separately interviewed?
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
I don't remember.
I don't remember Bukkake.
In my family room?
Were you sitting on couches?
Couches.
Yes.
You're comfortable?
Yes.
You were not in a police interrogation room, correct?
No, I was not.
And it wasn't particularly lengthy, correct?
Thank you, Coco. Hi, Poppy.
What do you define lengthily? And I don't recall. I don't remember how long it was exactly.
It didn't go into the evening, correct?
No.
And then
I laugh like a
Michael
turkey.
Proctor and the other trooper left, correct?
Correct.
Then at 6:17 p.m. that same night, shortly after you had been interviewed, you called Michael Proctor's personal cell phone number, correct?
Poppy.
I don't remember.
Let me have a moment.
Okay.
You didn't bring your cheaters today. Oh, you did? Good.
She brought her readers. I love it. I love it.
The same document. I'm going to hand you one document. There's an orange sticky on it and you can ignore.
Okay.
But right above the orange sticky, there's a date of February 10th.
Is your memory exhausted?
You could look at those 2 phone calls, ma'am, and look up at me when you're done.
Thanks, Coco. I've got the side part going on at the moment. It's my new thing. It's my new old thing. I used to always be side part. That's what she said, right? Right?
If I may approach.
Mm-hmm.
Did that refresh your memory about those 2 phone calls on February 10th?
I mean, I just read them, but I don't remember.
Okay. You called Trooper Proctor at 6:17 p.m. and it appears to be a 5-second phone call. Did you see that?
Objection, Your Honor.
Do you recall that Trooper Proctor called you back that same day
Bang, bang.
at 6:21 p.m. and that you spoke for about 4 minutes?
Objection, Your Honor.
Thanks, man, cat.
Do you deny speaking to Trooper Proctor for 4 minutes when he called you from his personal cell phone on February 10th of 2022 after you had been interviewed that day?
No, I don't deny it, but I don't remember it.
Yes, Frank's call
Where
back.
did you get his personal cell phone number?
I think he does, Coco.
Don't remember.
I'm equally lucky.
Years ago?
I'm sure, yes.
Sure.
Because you've known that family
Sure.
for a long time.
Yes,
Sure.
I have.
Sure.
And as you testify here today, you can't remember what that phone call would have been about, correct?
You're good, Annie.
No, I do not remember.
Okay, I'd like to contrast your relationship with Karen Reed versus your relationships with Jennifer McCabe and Courtney Proctor. You would agree with me, and I think you testified yesterday, that Jennifer McCabe is one of your best friends.
Correct.
And you call her Jen, correct?
Yes.
And Courtney Proctor is also one of your best friends, correct?
She's not one of my best friends. No, she's a good friend. She's not one of my best friends. No,
Babe, I
she's
only
my
have eyes
sister's
for
best
you.
friend.
Gotcha. Okay, so your sister,
My
Jill-
sister Jillian. Yes.
Jillian is best friends with Courtney Proctor, and you're close friends with her, but not best friends.
Correct.
But you really only knew Karen Reed as John O'Keefe's girlfriend.
Yes, Alice, the dragon. Yannetti is driven to exasperation by all of these bullshit witnesses. We will go through many of the testimonies over the coming, up until trial probably. I mean, it's there. I'm really enjoying this. I think chat's really enjoying this. It's a valuable exercise. But as I said before, it doesn't really matter what she answers, what any of them answer. The inference, the power is in the inference of the question, always in cross-examination.
Correct?
Correct.
Correct.
She was just an acquaintance of yours.
Correct.
There are no photos of you in a hot tub together, right? You and Karen Reed?
No.
There are no photos of you with your arms around each other at the beach, correct?
No.
You've never been to a baby shower with Karen Reed, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
You didn't have any contact with Karen Reed while you were growing up, correct?
No.
Karen Reed
Facts,
was
Coco.
definitely not from Canada, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll allow this and then you can move it on.
Move it on. Don't tell him
No,
how to
she
do
was
his
not.
cross-examination,
One
Bev,
more
you
question. She
fucking
was
piece
an
of shit.
outsider, correct?
I hate her.
She didn't live in Canton.
But after she started dating John, you would
Mansfield.
see her driving in and out of the street, correct?
Yes.
You'd see her taking groceries in, correct?
Yes.
Because you were neighbors with John.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I know these answers. Fun fact, chat. I was born in Canada. My expat Australian parents were living in Canada and adopted me. I'm adopted. And then when I was about 6 months old, we moved, the three of us, to Needham, which is Canton adjacent. Am I right? And we lived there for 3-ish years. And then they returned with me to Australia. So there you go. Fun fact, Shorty fun fact. I am relevant. This matters to me. I'm a Massachusetts resident. I'm not.
And it was the fact that you'd see her around, taking groceries in and out of the house and being outside with the kids that led you to believe that she was not only connected to John, but also to his house on Meadows Ave, correct?
Yes.
And you would see her interacting with the kids outside, correct?
Yes.
She would be participating in family type activities with the kids outside?
Yes.
And you'd see her enough that you assumed that she was living there, correct?
Yes.
And I believe you stated that you had known her or seen her
All
for
of that
about
race.
a year and a half or so. Is that a good estimate?
Yes.
Thank you, Coco.
And in all the time that you saw her in the neighborhood or had any contact with her and John, you never saw the two of them fight or argue, correct?
No.
You never heard them fight or argue, correct?
No.
And you had been out with them in a group
I'm Julie
setting a
Albert
handful
now.
of times, correct?
Just a couple of times.
And during those times, they always appeared to get along, correct?
Yes.
And you knew of no problems in their relationship, correct?
Same.
No.
And you were particularly impressed with the time Karen spent with John's adopted children.
Objection.
Were you?
Can you repeat that once more, please?
You were impressed.
Could be, Granny. Could
with
be.
the amount of time that Karen spent with John's children.
I am.
I didn't know the exact really amount of time. She was there a lot. Yes, she was. So yes, I would assume that she spent a lot of time with them. Yes.
Now, on Friday, January 28th, you had plans with your sister-in-law, Nicole, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
You are close with Nicole.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
You picked her up at her home in your car.
Yes.
Yes.
You drove her to the waterfall, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
And the two of you went for dinner there.
Yes.
Your husband, Chris, came later.
Yes.
The girl.
Brian Higgins came later.
Yes.
And you knew Brian Higgins, correct?
Yes.
Anyone stop you for 1
Yes.
second?
What? What the fuck, Bev? What the fuck, Bev? He was on a roll, and so she stopped that roll. God, she's awful. God, she's awful. Have you, Reese? Good luck. The trick with the Australian accent is to not really open your mouth very wide. For me to do Boston accent, I have to say yes, much wider than I normally do. Australians, generally, the accent comes from being.
All right, thank you, Mr.
No, thank
Wait,
you,
wait, wait. Let me finish that thought.
I believe you testified that you knew Brian Higgins at that time, correct?
Originally, with the original settlers of Australia, it's not so bad now, but in the outback and most of Australia was, it all was. It wasn't developed. It was virgin land. So there's a lot of flies in the outback in Australia in general. It's pretty fucking disgusting, to be honest. But the Australian accent comes from keeping your mouth quite closed to prevent the flies from flying into your mouth. So for me to do Boston stuff like park the car, I have to open my mouth a lot wider than I normally would to speak. The New Zealand accent is even more lazy. They say six, and there's all stereotypical things. But yeah, that's where the Australian sort of drawl comes from. But the Australian accent and the Boston or the Massachusetts accent come from a very, basically the British colonists. We all come from the same accent. It's just that yours, but I think the Massachusetts accent, the Boston accent, and the Australian accent is actually quite similar in a lot of ways. That's why I find it kind of easy to replicate some things. Plus, I've listened to a lot of this bullshit. It's all I lived and breathed for the last 6 months, basically.
Correct?
Yes.
And how did you know him?
He is a friend of my brother-in-law.
And your brother-in-law would be Brian Albert, correct?
Yes.
And by the way, when I just asked you that question about how you knew Brian Higgins and what his relationship was to Brian Albert, you didn't hesitate to say that they were friends, correct?
Fish and chips, Anna. Yes.
It's very clear that they were
fish and
correct?
chips.
Correct.
In fact, the two of them arrived at the bar together, correct?
Yes.
And it didn't surprise you to see the two of them together, correct?
No.
Sorry, I had an itchy ear.
Karen and John came sometime
Delightful.
after that,
I believe shortly after that, yes.
Shortly.
and
Shortly.
they walked over to your table.
Yes,
Yes.
And then John kind of came up from behind you and sort of in a joking way dug his finger into your shoulder
correct, yes.
and essentially said, what's up? And that was about it. And he went on, correct?
He said, what's up, and made a joke.
Sup.
And
And the joke was, given the fact that you and your husband moved from the neighborhood, they decided to hold a block party. Correct?
yes,
And
We lied
John
that one.
was the same jokester he always was, correct?
correct, yes,
And you had some contact with Karen while you were at the bar before you had to leave because of the migraine, correct?
correct,
The
And
migraine.
she was just very bubbly
Right.
that night, correct?
correct.
That's just her personality as far as you could see, correct?
As far as I knew, yes,
You didn't know her that well, but that's how she always was, correct?
correct.
And you left.
Reese, I knew there was a reason why you fit in with our chat very well, as most of you do. Mostly all of you do. That's why we love it here. There's a fair few people who prefer the green over the liquid amber or any other color of liquid. I'm not a pot smoker. I used to be, but yeah, toke it up.
The waterfall at around 11 o'clock, your best memory?
A little after 11.
And it was a particularly bad.
Actually, Reese, on that note, you'd probably, I dare say all of you would enjoy Adam Drives Helen's channel and his live streams. He's in Pacific time. So they're usually late for Eastern people, but always catch the replay. And he does cool spooky dooky stuff, conspiracy theories, unsolved mysteries, but not crimey stuff, not true crime stuff, and then has call-ins. Pretty cool. He's going live at 10 Pacific tonight, actually.
Bad migraine that night.
Yes,
And the loud music didn't help you out at all.
not at all.
And you drove home?
Yes,
Now, when you got home, your son Colin was not there, correct?
correct,
He was not out with you at the waterfall.
correct,
He was out that night, correct?
yes,
And you knew that he stops by your sister-in-law Nicole's house quite a bit, correct?
yes,
Yes.
He's very close to Nicole and Brian's kids, correct?
correct,
He's also very close to his aunt and uncle, Brian Albert and Nicole Albert, correct?
correct,
Correct.
So you would have gotten home maybe shortly after 11:10 p.m. approximately?
around 11. Yep, around that.
And that was when you entered an empty house, correct?
My son Dylan was home.
Oh, Dylan was home.
Yes,
Dylan the troublemaker.
But Colin was not.
he was not.
Flipping the
And
bird
Colin
at John
did not come
O'Keefe.
home at 11:30, correct?
Correct,
He did not come home at 11:45, correct?
correct,
And when the clock turned midnight, he still wasn't home, correct?
correct.
Now, at some point, your husband Chris came home, correct?
Yes,
You testified on direct examination that Chris came home at 12:10 a.m. on January 29th.
Okay, pay attention, chat.
that's
Pay
the time I
attention.
believe he did. Yes,
I believe he did. Interesting choice of words.
12:10 a.m. time. Did you discuss that precise time with anybody?
Okay, so I believe he did. Choice of words matters. If you're going to say something, words you choose to use and words you choose to not use very much matter. It's a subconscious thing often. And she knows she's lying. She knows this is bullshit. Everybody believed 12:10, except 12:10 is bullshit. So let's listen to how many times she doesn't say it with conviction because she knows she's not telling the truth.
Prior to taking the stand yesterday?
no,
Was
No.
that coordinated with anybody such that your husband and you gave the same time? 12:10 a.m.?
Sirens.
no,
Yes, Coco. I think so too.
With the court's permission, I'd like to play the waterfall glory video. I think it's exhibit 53, just that portion.
Dun, dun, dun. Yikes! That's loud in my earbuds, in my ear holes. No. Steph, that's a good one.
We may just have a moment, Your Honor.
Gather yourself, Yannetti, after those ridiculous sirens, sir. Paul O'Keefe, shame on you, sir. You awful character. Just because he's a victim and a family of a victim doesn't mean he's a good person.
I'm
I said
going
what
to
I
allow
said.
my colleagues some time to find this, and I'll move on with my questioning in the meantime. We can have the lights on again.
Ugh, I hate him.
Now, I believe you've testified that the waterfall is very close to D&E Pizza.
Here we
correct?
go.
Correct.
Yes, Coco.
But your house on Maple Street is about a half mile away from the waterfall. Would you agree with that?
About that, yes. Maybe a little less, but about that.
All right. Would you agree it's a 7 or 8 minute walk home from the waterfall if you're walking? I realize you were driving, but if somebody were walking, it would be about 7 or 8 minutes?
Maybe a minute or two less.
Okay. So you would say 6 or 7 minutes would be a better estimate to cover that half mile?
Depends on how fast you walk, yes.
And it was snowing that night, correct?
Correct.
The ground was a little bit slippery.
Yes.
If I may just have a moment.
Emily, yes, you missed the Bukkake part. We rewound it and watched it again. I lost my ever-loving mind. So fucking
This is
funny.
the exhibit I'd like to show you, ma'am. And if you can pause for 1 second. Do you recognize what's depicted in that video?
Fucking sirens.
Does that appear to be the waterfall?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see the time? Do you see the time, 12:13 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay, if you can run that, Mr. Bates.
A dislike is a very kind way of putting it. I'm not going to trash the family, but willful ignorance, in fact, is very frustrating. Yes, am I muted? Probably. No, I'm unmuted. Huzzah! Yes. He put his gum in his mouth. Ew. I don't want to think about Paul O'Keefe doing anything, not even chewing gum. Carry on.
All right, can you pause it there?
Sorry, guys, I'm chewing.
I am going to direct your, do you see where it says CH3?
Yes.
And
Muted! At least I know I'm muted most of the time tonight and last night. I'm on a bit of a roll with it. What flavor donuts? Who cleaned the car off? Which Dunkin' did you go to? Because the one in Canton wasn't open. Oh, Megan, thank you so much. Just wanted to say how much of a fucking delight you are and how fucking delightful this community is. You are all loved. You all are loved. Thank you, Megan. Right back at you, gorgeous. Emily, I will probably clip it and make a clip of the Bukkake thing and the rewind because I lost my ever-loving mind. So funny. So funny. So funny. I wonder if Karen's defense team will be using any broken down timelines that YouTubers have found gaping holes. Eesh. When they go back to court in January 25. Sorry about my facial reaction to gaping holes. I'm a dirty perv. Yes, I wonder. I'd say they will. I think knowledge is power, and we have so much more knowledge now, yeah? And the defense, therefore, have so much more power in this whole thing. I don't want to be selfish about it, but damn, I'm looking forward to the next trial if it happens. One's in the chat if you think there will be a second trial. One's in the chat.
you see the timestamp up the top, correct?
Yes.
Between those two markers on the video, you're going to see somebody walking by. I'd ask you to pay attention for the next, 6 seconds or so. Come on. Stop. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, I believe it's my husband.
If you can run that. Stop. Okay. Would you agree with me that your husband left the waterfall at about 12:13 and 46 seconds?
Well, yes. I mean, that's what it says on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was closer
Smart
to
ass.
2:14 than to 2:10. Would you agree with that?
12:14, you mean?
You know what? You're right. 12:14.
Schooled by Julie Albert.
12:10.
Ooh.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing.
Thank you. So if he's leaving at around 12:14, and by your testimony, it would have taken him he was walking home. You knew that, correct?
Yes,
He didn't have a car that night.
he did not.
And if it took him 6 or 7 minutes to get home, and by the way, let me strike that question. You had said it takes 6 or 7 minutes. Did you factor in the fact that of the weather that night for your estimate about a 6 or 7 minute walk?
Hey, Palm.
Objection.
We were roasting you last
Can
night.
you answer
not
that
you.
question? Is that what you said?
Yes, I didn't factor in the, I don't know.
All right, so your testimony would be, you don't know if it would have taken him a little bit longer, or anybody.
Anybody, everyone walks at a different pace.
Right, but whatever pace they walk at, you
Oh, snap. I saw something in last night's chat about it. But wow, JME, I don't know if anyone has said anything in this chat, but Brian Tully has been removed from the Norfolk County MSP, from MSP / Norfolk County Detectives Unit. Interesting. About fucking time, right? Yikes. Okay. Yeah, and I'm all about that classy shit. It is it is sliced light pretend cheese from Aldi. But I also did buy a wheel of brie last night, well, yesterday when I did my food shopping, and I will be having some of that later. But right now I'm basic as all get up, and I'm eating fucking shitty pretend cheese that probably doesn't even need to be refrigerated. Lol. I'm all class. I'm like a very intelligent, very smart, very classy, basic bitch.
given what you saw of the weather that night, is it your testimony that maybe it would have taken a little bit longer than the estimate? Because
It could have.
Okay. But in any case, let's leave it at 6 or 7 minutes. That puts your husband coming home at around 12:20 or 12:21, correct?
Correct.
All right. And that 12:10 estimate that you had.
I'm sorry, I'm going to skip back a little bit because I'm too busy being distracted. Don't liken me to Sarah Boone. God damn it. Sick burn. Like I'm cheap. I'm a tight ass. I have got not much money, and I can just, when I'm streaming, a couple of those slices of cheese, when my tummy grumbles and rumbles so loudly when I'm streaming, I'm surprised you guys can't hear it. Chat, like I'm serious. I get so hungry. This morning I had my breakfast quite late, but it's 2:38 here, PM on Saturday, and yeah, I don't want you to hear my tummy grumbling, and I can't be sitting here eating like a sandwich, so I just grabbed a couple of slices of government cheese. Not Sarah Boone.
You made that estimate before having the benefit of the video, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Where were
thank
you within the house when your husband came home?
In my room.
Bedroom?
Upstairs in my bedroom.
All right. And you share a bedroom with your husband?
Yes.
And when
Chicken Palm, we're doing a watch party tomorrow night, 7 Eastern. Here, me, Miss Shorty, and Paul O'Keefe's Crutchy, friend of the channel, coming out of hiding to do a reacts party with me. So come along, everybody, tomorrow night at 7. We can be our emotional support chat together. Let's focus. I'm going to focus. Focusing.
When was the first time that you saw him within the house?
He came up to the bedroom.
Okay, so you were in the bedroom and you see him appear in the bedroom.
Correct.
Did you hear the door
Excuse me,
open
I just
way down on the first floor?
Yes.
Okay. And it would have taken him maybe about a minute to get upstairs. It wasn't very long?
It wouldn't be very long, no.
Okay. And
Good
when
news.
he got upstairs, you noticed that he was in wet clothing, correct?
Yes.
He appeared to be cold.
Yes.
Pat, don't. You get me paranoid.
And he got undressed, correct?
Yes.
Did he brush his teeth before bed?
I think he got right into bed.
Okay, so you didn't see him brush his teeth or wash up?
No.
And were you in the bed when he came into the bed to go to sleep?
I was sitting up in bed, yes.
No, you weren't.
Reading or watching?
No, you weren't. Okay, here's the migraine bullshit. But also, is that true? Because I don't ever lie. I can't lie. I actually can't lie. A part of my neurodivergence delightfulness is that I cannot lie. I just can't. Like if you ask me, I'll fucking tell you whatever it is. I can't lie. Maybe that's why I look so youthful, because I don't lie. I'm older than Julie Albert by like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. I'm almost 50, man. I love that. Fun fact: Lisa looks young because she doesn't lie. Yes. Oh, Lisa thinks she looks young. Oh, me, I'm Lisa, Shorty.
Watching TV?
I was just sitting up in bed praying for
Bullshit.
my headache to go away.
Bullshit.
Oh, okay. The migraine was still really
Yes.
bothering you, and you were
Bullshit.
suffering at that point.
Suffering? I had a headache.
Well, yeah, but a migraine headache, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
It was a headache, but I took medicine and I was waiting for it to get better.
To kick in?
Yes.
Okay. And that's sort of what you were concentrating on. It's really kind of hard to read or watch TV or concentrate on anything when you have a migraine, right?
Okay. Yes.
I'll Google it.
Now, you would agree with me that your husband Chris was asleep when Colin came home, correct?
Correct.
And as a mother, you couldn't have gone to sleep until you knew your kids were home, correct?
Correct.
And Colin was the remaining child who was out there, which when he came home, that would given you license to go to sleep.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wait. She's 48. She's my age.
Now,
absolutely,
at
Steph.
the time that Colin came home with Chris sleeping, it's fair to say this was just an ordinary weekend night, correct?
How do you?
Well, in other words, you didn't know that anything tragic had occurred or was alleged to have occurred, correct?
Correct.
So it wasn't like you were paying attention to the clock at that point and recording your memories as best you could because you knew you'd be testifying later, correct?
Correct.
Which also explains the 1210 estimate, right? I mean, you're being asked about, times that things occurred, and it was just sort of an ordinary day, right? So it's difficult to pinpoint times, correct?
Correct.
Okay, spoiler alerts. We're watching it tomorrow night. It's just now.
Okay.
I'm half joking. Don't spoil it. I haven't watched it. I'm not watching it until tomorrow night. Getting a live reacts from me. You all can come back and watch because I'm a fucking delight. Crotchy's going to be here. Paul O'Keefe's crotch. It's going to be a whole thing. Let's do it, y'all.
Now, directing your attention to the next morning, you missed a phone call from your best friend, Jennifer McCabe, correct?
Correct.
And you believe that phone call, I think according to your memory, yesterday.
It is, it really is, Emily.
5:55 p.m., correct? I'm sorry, 5:55 a.m.,
Fact.
correct?
Correct.
That was the time that you gave Mr. Lally when he asked you the question on direct examination, correct?
Correct.
And you were able to recall that time nearly 2 years later, correct?
Yes.
But regarding the 67 phone calls between you and Courtney Proctor that happened after that, you're not able to recall any of those, correct?
I just don't remember them.
All right, in any case, January 29th was your nephew Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday, correct?
Yes.
That's why you went to 34 Fairview at 8:30 in the morning, correct?
Not to collude a story?
And when you pulled into the driveway, there was nothing unusual to you, correct?
Correct.
This was just your brother-in-law Brian and your sister-in-law Nicole's house.
And your nephew, I mean your son.
Snow around, correct?
Yes.
There were no police on scene?
No.
There was no tent protecting the front lawn, correct?
No.
Correct.
No crime scene tape stapled anywhere or taped anywhere, correct?
Correct.
Nobody appeared to be standing guard over the front yard, correct?
Correct.
You didn't see any
Window
shard
change.
of glass, right?
No, I did not.
You didn't see 45 pieces of tail light strewn about the lawn, correct?
Correct.
I love you, Amy.
In fact, you didn't see any pieces of tail light, correct?
I don't recall seeing anything.
And
Fancy
you
that.
didn't suspect
They weren't there
that
yet.
34 Fairview was a
God damn
crime
it.
scene, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
There was nothing that prevented you from walking all
She's
over that front
48.
lawn, correct?
48.
Correct.
It was still snowing out?
40.
Yes.
40.
Brian Albert, when you approached the house, he opened the door, correct?
I approached the car, not the house.
Oh, okay. You approached, whose car was it?
My nephew Brian's
Brian?
in the driveway.
Hi,
Yes.
Carrie.
And then Brian Albert opened the door of the house.
The side door of the home, yes.
All right, so can I have Exhibit 8, please, with the court's permission?
Yes.
Oof, I know. Oof. You, as long as you don't cover up a murder, you're good, I think. Moon Bunny, we're all good here. Let's just not keep these dark skeletons in the closet. Bring them into the light.
Could we zoom in just a little bit?
What is it, Joseph?
That's good.
Not porn. Well, how very gentlemanly of you, sir. How very 1970 of you.
I'm
60.
so bad at this stuff. Jeez. Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, Yannetti, I love him so much.
That I'm highlighting now is the front door to the house, correct?
Yes.
And if we move along Exhibit 8 to the right, is that the side door?
Yes.
And that's the door that Brian Albert appeared from?
Same girl.
Yes.
And you were able to see him from the outside of the house, correct?
House.
Yes.
Yes.
And you were over to this area?
Yes.
Do you recall, is it one of those two cars that's in Exhibit 8 that you approached with the Dunkin' Donuts?
Who owned the Ford Edge? Which of those cars are we going to leave those hot, fresh, non-existent donuts in, Julie?
I can't make out what the cars are.
Okay.
Cars are.
But it was either one of those two cars or a car that was parked in one of those two
Same.
places.
Yes.
All right. And then did you go in that side door to go into the house?
Yes.
Fair to say that family has lived there for quite a while, correct?
Yes.
You knew that prior to Brian Albert and Nicole, I'm sorry.
Hey, new people coming in now. Good to see you. Have you hit the like? Make sure you do. Happy to have you lurk, but we are fun here in chat. So come on into chat, subscribe, and then you can come in a couple of minutes. And tomorrow night, I presume you've all been watching the Dateline episode that just aired tonight. We'll be doing a watch party tomorrow night here on my channel, Miss Shorty, myself and Paul O'Keefe's Crotch, not the actual Paul O'Keefe's Crotch, but Crotchy, a friend of the channel. We'll be doing I Won't Have Seen It, live reacts, 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. Come on in. We'll do it again, yeah?
That's really bad form to block the jury. I am so sorry. It's good I didn't trip. The door that is the front door, having been familiar with that house for a long time, you've gone in that front door before, correct?
Yes.
And
Yay?
you know that
Yay.
when you go in the front door of that house, you come into a little foyer area, correct?
Correct.
And then almost within arm's distance to the left is the door to the basement, correct?
Walking in the front door, arm's distance to the left.
Yes, in other words, you walk into the house.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
the door to the basement, going down to the basement, is right there on the
Whoa.
left, correct?
That's incorrect. To the left is a library.
All right. Where is the door to the basement?
Tell me
You
if
walk
that's
in the
too
front door.
fast, chat.
You step to the right, walk a few steps towards the kitchen, and the basement door is on the left before you enter the kitchen.
All right. But the kitchen's off to the left, correct?
No, when you walk in the front door, the library is on
Door.
the left. There's another room on the left.
Door.
Okay.
So you
Room.
walk in, you immediately see a staircase in front of you.
Yeah.
And to the left is the library.
Right.
If you go to the right,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
if you go to the right, you can go into the part of the kitchen where the kitchen table is, or you can not go to the right. You can walk straight. And as you're walking, there's a door on the left, and that's where the basement door is.
Okay.
That's
so
where the
we're getting
murder
to what I
occurred,
was
right?
Getting at.
Correct.
If you walk straight ahead, there's a door to the left that goes down to the basement, correct?
Correct. Yes.
We can have the left one.
Meh.
And when you were walking toward that side door,
Mhm.
you didn't see any emergency or police vehicles outside, correct?
No, I did not.
You didn't see any first responders other than Brian Albert, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
There were no lights flashing outside the house, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
And inside, you saw Nicole Albert?
Yes.
Brian Albert,
Yes.
Jennifer McCabe,
Yes.
Matt McCabe,
Yes.
and Brian Higgins, correct?
Yes.
How long did you spend at the house that morning?
I don't remember exactly. Maybe a half hour, 45 minutes.
Bullshit.
I don't remember exactly.
And the 7 of you were discussing what had happened, correct?
Yes.
At some point, it was decided that Jennifer McCabe should contact Michael Lank of the Cambridge.
Lanka, you're done.
I'll let, if this witness knows independently.
Can you repeat that once more, please?
Oh, for
At some
fuck's
point,
sake.
it was decided among the 7 of you that Jennifer McCabe should contact Michael Lank of the Canton Police Department.
I don't remember who exactly Jennifer decided. Yeah, I don't remember exactly the discussion.
You knew Michael Lank, correct?
Yes.
And at 8:53 a.m., you
Oh, my.
sent to Jennifer McCabe Michael Lank's personal cell phone number, correct?
Correct.
And did you then see Jennifer McCabe delete that text message from you?
Objection.
I'll sustain.
Nice effort. What does that
You
mean?
were contacted by the Massachusetts State Police this
Mancat.
year about your phone, correct?
Correct.
They left you a voicemail on March 21st of 2024?
The state police
Right,
about
Emily?
my telephone?
Right.
Well, they left you a voicemail on March 21st of 2024. You had contact with the state police this year.
Yes.
And they left you a second voicemail on March 25 and then called you again on March 28.
Yes.
Yes.
You told them that you were sick and you would speak to them on April 1st, correct?
Correct.
And then the state police called you on April 1st, but you did not pick up.
off.
You recall that?
I do not.
They called you again that same day and you didn't respond, correct?
I don't recall.
But you did learn that they
All I'll say, Mancat, is I'd like to hear your Australian accents, and then we can battle.
had called your husband on April 1st looking for you, correct?
I don't recall.
All right. After speaking with your husband, you texted the Massachusetts State Police on April 1st, correct?
I think around that. I don't know the exact date.
All right. And you finally met with the Massachusetts State Police on April 3rd of 2024, correct?
I would assume. I don't know the exact date, but yes.
And during that meeting, the state police looked through your phone for contact that you would have had with Michael Proctor, correct?
Correct.
Did they seize your phone?
Yes, Coco.
No, they did not.
Did they
Yes,
tell you that they
Coco.
had a search warrant for your phone?
No, they did not.
Agreed.
Did they take it back saying that they had to give it to some experts to do an extraction?
Objection.
Sustain.
They just looked through it after you handed it to them, correct?
Correct.
Then they gave it back.
Yes.
Now, with regard to your contact with Karen on January 28th, it was clear to you that Karen did not appear to be under the influence, correct?
Correct.
You didn't see her stumbling, correct?
Correct.
You didn't see her swaying.
Correct.
She was not unbalanced.
No.
She was not slurring her words.
No.
She was not talking gibberish.
No.
She was engaging in normal conversation.
Yes.
And she held the conversation perfectly fine.
Yes.
She appeared to be under control, correct?
Yes.
She was affectionate with John that night.
Objection.
Oh, Lally. No
I didn't
sexy
come in
talk.
contact with them like that.
Well, the two of them certainly were not arguing.
No, not that I saw.
You didn't see any tension between them, correct?
That's
No.
too fast. I can't. I'm sorry.
And
It's too fast.
I mean, given your family's connection to law enforcement, you would not knowingly let someone drive a car if they were under the influence, correct?
Objection.
Interesting. I look forward to watching it. Look forward.
Everyone appeared to be having a good time that night, correct?
Yes.
And that included John. and
Murder.
Karen, from what
Bit of
you've
murder.
seen,
A
correct?
little bit of
For the
murder.
10 minutes, 15 minutes I was there. Yes.
Okay. Now, after you left the waterfall, it's fair to say that you didn't know precisely where your son Colin was that night, correct?
I knew where he was.
Where was he?
He
Murdering
was at
someone.
his friend Michael Leonetti's.
Murdering.
He left Michael Leonetti's to
Murdering
stop
someone.
to say happy birthday to my nephew Brian
Delivering
at
the fatal
34
blow.
Fairview Road.
Delivering the fatal blow.
And you learned that from him, correct?
Yes.
So you had learned that Colin was at 34 Fairview on January 29th of 2022, correct?
January 28th.
We say barbecue, Mancat, not grill.
The Fred.
So is it your testimony that you know that Colin left on Friday night as opposed to after midnight on January 29th?
I don't understand what you're asking.
What just occurred is I asked you whether you knew that your son Colin was at your sister-in-law Nicole's and your brother-in-law Brian Albert's house on January 29th, and you just corrected.
I'm sorry, it was after midnight.
Okay.
So I got confused. I apologize.
Not a problem. So the answer to my question is you learned that he was there on January 29th, correct?
Yes, after midnight.
And you now know that that is the same house outside which
So wait a
John
minute.
O'Keefe was found dead that morning, correct?
Yes, I do.
But didn't Colin come home? So he was there after midnight and then 12:10. But then, so how does that work, Julie Albert? How does that work?
And one last question. You were interviewed by Trooper Proctor, and it's fair to say you never told him that Colin was there that night, correct?
I don't recall my interview.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lally.
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Just briefly, Your Honor. Thank God, Lally. Wait, what was I going to answer? I was going to say something that was something. Yeah, also Coco, it was doctored. It wasn't, it was a screenshot. It's a moot point. I can't believe, I guess they had to choose their battles, but did you? Live 360. Is it good? No murders?
Morning, Ms. Howard.
Good morning.
Now, with reference to, you were asking a question about.
Okay, now we go 1.25, because God damn it, Lally.
February to September, correct?
Correct.
That's about 7 months, is that right?
Yes.
And roughly about 210 days or so?
Yes.
Do you have other friends?
Do you have other friends? No friends.
Yes.
And versus some of your other friends, as far as those phone calls, 67 times over 210 days, is that more so, less so, or on average with?
Less so.
And at no point in time did you speak to Ms. Proctor that you can call about this case or talk to Proctor outside of that interview?
Correct.
In the interview that you had with Trooper Proctor, there was another trooper present, correct?
Yes.
And you would just ask some questions about meeting with some other troopers this year in 2024, correct?
Correct.
And fair to say none of those troopers was Trooper Proctor, correct?
Correct.
And also wasn't the trooper that was with Trooper Proctor when you spoke to him.
Trooper Bukkake. Yes.
And they asked you questions. You had at least 2 interviews with them, is that correct?
Correct.
And you voluntarily went to those interviews?
Yes.
You answered their questions?
Yes.
They asked for your phone?
Yes, when I was sitting there, they looked at my phone. Yes.
They asked for your phone, you provided your phone?
Yes.
Voluntarily, nobody threatened you with a search warrant or anything like that?
No.
You asked some questions about timing, and I promise there's no math that I'm asking in this, but you've had to walk outside when it's cold outside, correct?
Yes.
You tend to walk faster or slower when it's cold outside?
Faster, me personally.
When you went over to your in-laws' house on the morning of January 29th to drop off donuts for your nephew, you weren't expecting to go inside, correct?
Correct.
You weren't expecting to be standing around talking to people about a friend of yours potentially having died at that point.
No.
Nothing further.
May we approach?
Yeah, Nettie, let's fucking approach. Let's approach. You are muted. Well then, that was worth 3 hours. 3 hours. Just to get the lols from the Bukkake. Sidebar. Yes. So everybody, what do you think? What do we think about Julie Albert? I mean, obviously, we think she's lying. There's a whole lot of lies there. I don't feel like we noted. I personally didn't notice much new there. It wasn't as enlightening as watching Chris Albert last night in his testimony, how he went from occasionally touching his face, pulling his ear, moving his collar a little bit, which wasn't tight in the first place, to literally not being able to keep his hands away from his scratching, like one bit did it, move neck. Amazing, wild, really. Sidebar for a nightcap. Yes, I feel like it's almost 1 o'clock for me. 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon. Lally, who, if anyone, is as much of a stooge as you? Well, who, if anyone, was driving the ambulance? Answers that question, doesn't it? Ah, she's one of them. Wet brain. Yes, Bev. Okay, well, love your faces, chat. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships to, oh my goodness, it was raining green in here, wasn't it? We had Chad Ferguson gifted 5. T. Salis 333 paid it forward because she was one of the gifted membership recipients. Adam, yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Love you. Me, thanks me. And that was out of my pocket too. I didn't give away free ones. I've given away all my YouTube ones for the month. So yes. Then Sharon Triffett gifted 5 memberships, and then Grumpy Granny became a member. Thank you to Misadventurous Bookmouse, Darlene, and Megan for the super chats.
You're actually complete. Your testimony was up.
Thank you.
All right, so but let's let the jurors go first, because we're doing something that may take a little while, so we got you coffee and bagels. So it'll be a little bit longer break for you, okay?
You rise to the jury.
Jury out.
Hold your notebooks up, please. Hold your notebooks and leave on the chair, please.
Love you, Karen. Free Karen Reed. This is bullshit. This is a sham. It's a fiasco. It's a shit show. It's a debacle. It's despicable.
You can step down. You can just fall. You just fall.
Yes. Stop sharing. Boom. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to my amazing moderators, Adam. Love you. Ernie, Turd, Jess. I think Amy was not here tonight. Amber was not here tonight. So the fabulous 4 moderators. Love you so much. So great to see some new faces and some new names in here. Appreciate you guys coming in and then out again. If you are watching the watch party, the Dateline show elsewhere, make sure you watch the rest of this on replay if you're interested. If only to see the Bukkake moment, and I rewound it and laughed as much, just as hard the second time. We are outraged. Yes, only fan in Singapore. Lovely guys. JME says she is definitely hiding a lot. Chris Albert is her husband. He is one of the head ringleaders. Facts. Miss Shorty has the best chat. I love this girl. I love you too, Coco. Bye, Britt Ketchell. Don't forget, 10 Pacific. When's that? In 1 more hour. Adam Drives Helen going live. Memberships because you know how I feel about you. And the feeling is mutual, Sharon. Love your face. Love your face. Yup. Yeah. Fucking delight. Yes. We're all fucking delights here. It's by association and by just general demeanor, behavior, and attitude. We're all fucking delights. A classy chat. Thanks all. Yes, Kat. We keep it classy with a K. Always. Make sure you drop a comment after the stream has ended, please and thank you. It helps get this stream out into the algorithm. And then when I respond, not only because I love responding to you, that also helps with the algorithm. So engagement helps. Let's engage. On that note, let's go out with a Turd Ferg banger. Video by Adam Drives Helen. Love your little fucking faces. Thanks for bearing with me. We just do it. We do it, don't we, chat? Shorties, love ya. Mwah. See you tomorrow, 7 Eastern. Mwah.
Our sister, survivor, and lawyer. Miss Shorty shows care and concern, broadcasting out of Melbourne. They've been streaming for a while, and they know they make us smile. He knew love from 8,000 miles away, 13,000 kilometers, never got it away. Half the world apart, but united in the heart. Both are uniquely complex, bravely seeking what's next. It would be an easy They've been streaming for a while, and they know they make us smile. Streaming for a while, and they know they make us smile. He knew life from 8,000 miles away. 13,000 kilometers never gotten away. Half a world apart, but united in the heart. Both are uniquely complex, bravely seeking what's next.